What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on a Monday night edition of the Sports Web. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Hopefully you guys out there are being safe if you guys are drinking or having a good time, or if you're watching this show. Got lots to talk about tonight, but how do we start off this show? Is you know them, you love them, you got to have them. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter, giving you something to think about. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we will have Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy on with us, hopefully. As you know, this show is kind of fluid sometimes. So it's you just never know who's going to pop in. Maybe Ray, maybe Harry. We'll definitely have Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast, because how about your Tampa Bay Rays? What a difference a week makes, right? This has been a roller coaster of a ride if you're a Rays fan. Getting swept by the Kansas City Royals and then taking 2 out of 3 from the New York Yankees. I mean, try to figure this team out. Try to figure them out right now. So we'll talk to Bushman. And yes, I did share it to some of the Rays sites out there. I want Rays fans to call in. I want you to talk about your Tampa Bay Rays. Where's the confidence level in this team? As Taylor Walls had 4 hits yesterday.
Ooh, yeah!
Impressive. Brendan Lau with the bases loaded, which this team has really struggled when it comes down to it. When the bases are loaded, gets a big-time knock to drive in 2 runs. Impressive.
Ooh, yeah!
And then if that wasn't enough, how about Jonathan Aranda yesterday with the home run in the second inning? The Rays are up 4-0. The Rays are up 5-0. They score 7 runs. They have 16 hits. What's going on here? What is going on with your Tampa Bay Rays? So definitely want to talk to you about your favorite baseball team in the Bay Area. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. And then after that, Leo Haggerty from a Coach Scott and Now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. We'll be around talking about what else? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Around the National Football League. Is Aaron Rodgers signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers? What about the draft? We can recap it if you want to. Give me your thoughts on it. We've been throwing it out there on paper. Some comments from some analysts around the National Football League about what the Bucs did. A former defensive MVP of a Super Bowl 37, just saying, Dexter Jackson has some comments about Antoine Winfield Jr. And then, Tampa Bay Ray threw this out there. Abdul Carter looking for a number. Already turned down by Lawrence Taylor, 56. Now turned down by Phil Simms. Wanted to wear, I guess, number 11. Not able to do that. What do you think of that situation? And would you allow a Bucs draft pick to wear one of those famed numbers? You know what numbers I'm talking about, don't you? It's just cursed. It really is. You've got to love that. You've got to absolutely love that. Love that. You got to love that, right? It is cursed. I just said it. It's cursed. As my signs fall down, I can't get it. That wall's cursed. I mean, that freaking wall is freaking cursed. And I don't know how many times I've tried to put that up there. And the thing is, I can't do nothing about it. Like, you can see the shadow right now. I can't put a screw in there. I can't put a nail in that wall. I've been trying to put it up there over and over again. And there it goes. There it goes. There goes Tropicana Field. There goes the Bucs sign right there. So we'll try to get that back up there when I get a guest in here that will come in. But would you allow a Bucs rookie, and again, excuse the shadow in the background, not to be confused with Jeremiah Hafner from South Dakota, who always says the shadow is here. Oh, the shadow is here too. It's right in the back. Would you allow a Bucs rookie to wear 55? Would you allow a Bucs rookie to wear 47? Would you allow a Bucs rookie to wear 99? That is the question of the night. Yes, thank you very much, Wilbur, for tuning in. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. So we will go out to the comments right there. Rick Crompton says hello. Hello to you.
Oh, yeah.
Tim, my buddy right there from, I believe, Sarasota or Bradenton. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, you got to love that. Tim says, bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense and don't bring any stick-em because the signs won't stick on that wall. For the love of God, they will not. It just won't happen. I just need somebody to go in there and just give me like a nail so I could just nail it in as hard as possible. And then I'll tell the roommates, who, by the way, he's happy because his Boston Celtics moved on against the Orlando Magic. They will now face the New York Knicks. What a story that is, right? All you Knicks fans out there, as we talk a little basketball. By the way, if somebody tells me that LeBron James is the greatest of all time, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. Because he's been eliminated by the Minnesota Timberwolves. So no LeBron talk, okay? Can we just hold off on that? The greatness talk? But again, going back to it. The roommate's happy because the Celtics are in. So we'll see how far they go as the defending champions of the NBA. If you want to talk about that, you can. So definitely bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Evening, everyone, says Christopher Cole.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Wilbur says Brandon here. Absolutely. Thank you, new friend right there on Facebook and the joys of live TV. You got to love that. I mean, we got that right there. Like that was some ghost or something. Like I said, it was cursed, and right on cue, Tropicana hits the ground. And then the Bucs sign also with the flag hits the ground. Gotta love it. Gotta love it here on the Evolution. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Special shout out here. Actually, you know what? I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a moment because I want to make sure that signs up. I want to make sure I do this professional. Me being professional. Imagine that, right? Signs falling all over the place, people tuning in, coming in drunk, bad sound. You never know what's going to happen. But this guy, as always, has my back. Let me go ahead and go out to, you can bang on the door. I mean, go ahead and bang on the door because, the sign fell down anyway. It doesn't matter. Gorilla Glue works good. Yeah, I don't think anything at this point will work good. Let's go out to this guy in his intro.
Mr. Kennedy!
Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. As we had a situation here, as you can see it, man, it just continues to happen over and over again. You need some heavy-duty double-sided tape. I've tried to get that. But my friend, what's going on? Welcome to the Evolution. I'm going to have you take it from here because I am going to try to put this sign up as quickly as possible so I don't look like a complete and total idiot. Yes.
You don't but take your time.
Don't put me on screen here, but welcome to the Evolution on the Monday night on a happy Cinco de Mayo. I don't know if you drank or not. After watching that sign go down on the floor, I kind of want to have a drink on everybody. Welcome to the Evolution.
First of all, thank you for having some type of respect for me because it is Cinco de Mayo. And you're like, I don't know if you drank. And I'm like, Pete, this is me. Of course, that was just on the heels of May the 4th be with you. And the 4th were with the Rays there yesterday in the Bronx as they come through with, 18 hits. We can get to that later. But I love what you led with because we talk about scaling up and scaling back. And the NIL seems to be scaling back to, is it at middle school yet? Have they gotten down to Pop Warner and are scaling up and, everybody putting emphasis on like an Arch Manning or these players at the college level? But we've seen it especially this year. In years past, it was always like, well, when Tom Brady came in, of course, the Bucs didn't have number 12 retired. The best number 12 before Tom Brady was probably Doug Williams. But you see it with other teams when players come in and are like, yo, this is how I do back in NIL back at, I was getting paid $4 million a year to play at Tennessee or what have you. But then, you got the narrative this year where now you're actually asking players, a Bill Carter with the Giants, can I use a Phil Simms number 11? Can I go back and use a Lawrence Taylor number 56? And the point there being, why retire the number in the first place? You retired it because of the iconic meaning that number meant for your organization. How does all of a sudden drafting the cream of the crop or the flavor of the day mean it should be okay to let that number come out of retirement? Why even retire it number in the first place?
Well, we'll get back to that in a moment because I got to do this special shout out because, as you know, I drive a Tesla. So there's some lights that come on sometimes, and I thought I had a bad tire. I actually went to Mavis Tires and Brakes there over in 5660 West Waters Avenue. David and crew, thanks a lot for hooking me up and helping me out. It was just a sensor light. It was not a bad tire. But I had to shout you guys out. Thanks a lot for taking care of me because it didn't cost me anything. Only thing I was kind of stressed out about is that I had a flat tire, no flat tire at all. So there you go. Thanks a lot once again to Mavis Tires and Brakes over there in 5660 West Waters Avenue. And of course, as always, sponsorships are available on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Let me just mention it again. In the last 90 days, over 700,000 views. And by the way, we got a new sound effect because YouTube Super Chats are open. Roger Shue donated the $120 to eliminate the Tom Brady Let's Go. So we don't have that anymore, but we do have this Baker Mayfield.
Wait up, little boy.
Yeah.
Wait up.
Get your weight up right there with Baker Mayfield here on the Evolution. Let's go back out to these comments. Gorilla Glue works good. Don't know if that will work that well on that wall, as my roommates will most likely kill me. Tampa Bay Ray says, Tim Sitton says, what's good? What's good with you?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Joshua Luke Lambros Fiegler. Bring the legends. Thank you very much for tuning in. And absolutely, hey, Peter, hey, Sue Ann, what's going on?
Yes. Yes.
And LF Cook Baker. So I don't know. I don't know what that is, but I guess he likes the new Baker Mayfield sound effect there. But going back to it, I mean, it's been a big story, and you kind of brought it up today. If you're a Bucs fan, would you allow one of these rookies, one of these high-touted rookies, to wear, let's just say, Bucky Irving wanted to wear 28 for Warrick Dunn, or he wanted to wear, James Wilder's number. Wilder was what, 32?
32.
32. So you want to wear 32. Would you like that idea? Open phone lines or throw that out there tonight. Do you have a problem with, a rookie coming in? I kind of do. Listen, it is your own deal, right? Abdul Carter, I get it. He admires Lawrence Taylor, but 56 is 56. Make your own legacy. Make your own deal. I'll answer the question. I don't necessarily think any rookie should be able to wear that number unless, of course, the guy signs off on it. I feel like a player should make his own legacy. I felt like the same thing for so many years, bringing up LeBron. He was wearing 23 and he admired Michael Jordan for so many years. Right. I don't agree. I think every player has their own legacy when it comes down to it. Make your own legacy, make your own number, make your own deal. Don't try to, go off of somebody else, if that makes sense. What do you say, Ray?
Yeah, and I mean, the Buccaneers in the history of the team, the only three numbers definitively retired, and you have to even dig to find that out, of course, is number 63, the OG Leroy Selman, then Warren Sapp, who because he got traded to Oakland or went out and played for the Raiders, 99, and of course, double nickel, 55. Those three numbers are untouchable. We've talked about what other numbers are untouchable. Well, I'll tell you what, if a fullback comes in here and tries to wear number 40, even a running back at that, he better be a running back that plays like a fullback with the hands of a wide receiver to even go there, even though number 40 for Mike Allstott's not retired. But so as a Buccaneers fan, we hear the narrative with these, with an Abdul Carter in New York, or with these other players that are coming out, a Warren Moon now, Ward down there. And of course, Warren Moon never actually wore the Tennessee Titans number 1. He wore the Houston Oilers number 1. But if you're going to be wearing those Oilers throwbacks as the, part of their, history of the team, then why did they retire the number 1 as a Houston Oiler if Cam Ward's going to come in 2025 and wear number 1 as a Tennessee Titan? Does that undermine the fact that they retired number 1 in Warren Moon and what that cat did there with Houston Oilers, or at the end of the day? So that's really the question is. I wanted to know what everyone else thought. I mean, if you retire a number, should it stay retired, or is it just on ice until the next, latest, greatest thing comes along?
All right, good stuff there. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Hopefully the sign stays up. Once again, I got to put some adhesive, if you will, after the show. I don't think I'm going to go any longer than 2 hours tonight, so we'll see what happens. But Jason Light had this to say about Emeka Egbuka, of course, the controversial to some Bucs fans, and I think he was the best wide receiver. Well, it is controversy at this point. And again, Facebook stars are open, YouTube Super Chats. He had this to say to Pro Football Talk. Egbuka does allow us to make sure that Chris does do his rehab correctly, and we don't want to rush him and all those things. So that does give us a little comfort with the pick that we can do that to make sure that he's not rushed back. But Egbuka had nothing to do with where Chris is currently in rehab. And I think that's important. That's what we heard. You assumed. And I remember on draft night getting a text message from the legend Leo Haggerty, who will be along with us at 9:00, talking around the NFL, saying, there may be something up with Chris. And what we've heard contrary to that, and I don't expect him to come out and say, well, yeah, the reason why we made this pick at number 19 was because Chris is not fully ready. But I would assume that it is some type of insurance policy because, once again, Godwin, I never doubt him on the rehab process. But, of course, it does give you some flexibility, does give you some insurance, if you will, if you're Jason Light of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right?
Yeah, and I mean, going back to Mark Carrier, Riddell Anthony, Lamar Thomas, coming up through Vincent Jackson, of course, Keenan McCardell.
Dropping names.
Well, and don't forget the infamous Alvin Harper, who was, infamous over on Dale Mabry. But I mean, in the last 11 years, when of course I deserve that because of that. But I'm just saying, Jason Light's.
Stone hands Harper right there. We nearly got it. What, he got his finger cut off by the Bucs training staff there at that time? That's how good they were, right?
Was it one of the dances over at 2001? I don't even remember. But I mean, my point being that Jason's very first draft pick is Mike Evans, and of course he's showing that put a dog in that position who can carry a quarterback. Then you have a quarterback who can carry a wide receiver, and they draft him, and yeah, everybody was like, maybe this is exactly what they were saying here was that Chris Godwin's not coming along as fast as they thought he was. But at the end of the day, Jason Light's shown you put dogs in the middle, you put them on a D and offensive line. You got to get your linebacker, which hopefully we found that, or we continue to develop that with Levante in his 103rd year. But I have no problem with Jason Light. I have no problem with Jason Light drafting a dog because that's exactly what this kid is. He loves to block. He loves to grind. And I'll tell you what, we tried to do it with Tyler Johnson. He was just a show and go, had a big play in the Packers game there in the championship game in 2020. But we need a guy in the middle that can not only be a receiver threat, but a blocking threat. And you heard from Will Howard, the quarterback at Ohio State. He tells you that Egbuka actually loves to go out there, looks for someone to hit. You cannot put a premium on guys like that in the middle. And they also have fantastic, very elite hands to catch the ball.
And I also think it comes down to character for this team. It's all about, drafting character, drafting guys, not only for the present, but also for the future, and putting him in that locker room and putting him around guys like Chris Godwin, who's a complete professional, and putting him around a guy like a Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield. And that's what it comes down to. And you can't put a price on character, but what you can put a price on the fact of, what he can do. He can play outside. He can play inside. He can block. He's physical. He's fast. And he played at a great program in Ohio State. Let me go back out to these comments here from, let's go out to Tim. No to the rookies. Create your own legacy. Agree. Let's see here. Joshua says we had a great draft selection. Fire. Thank you very much. I think that is a Facebook chat or Facebook stars right there. So if it is, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Again, Facebook stars are open. YouTube super chats are open. Special shout out to Alex Nunster, who has, for the last couple of weeks here, just throw me some money in Cash App. Hey, man, I really appreciate what you do. Didn't do it for Facebook stars. Didn't do it for YouTube super chats. Cash App me money. I appreciate that. I really do, Alex. That's why you're one of my favorite webheads. And no matter what anybody says, you're good here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Bucs have had a lot of 12s, but I believe that Brady will be the last 12. I think you're absolutely right. There was some controversy about this. We went back and forth. It was not just 12 being retired for Tom Brady, but also Doug Williams and what he did. Trent Dilfer, no, not so much. No. But yeah, I think it comes down to creating your own legacy unless, like you said, Ward got permission from Warren Moon. So to me, I don't know what Carter's trying to do. I don't know why he's doing this. I don't know if he's trying to get attention. I don't know what it is, but when it comes down to it, again, it's
11. You understand? Well, you understand Micah Parsons. So he comes from Penn State too. So you understand maybe the 11 transition. But he actually first went for Lawrence Taylor, 56, and Lawrence said no. And then even Chris Sims himself at first had said yes. And then the story today on PFT, shout out to Mike Florio, but then Chris Sims, who was also a former Buck, number 2. That number's definitely not retired by the Bucs yet. But I mean, he actually came out in the entire. What's that?
I said, nor should it be.
What should it be? Well, because Chris
do ever do besides lose his spleen.
He almost died for the team, but he was a dog. But you're right. I mean, legacy speaking. But I mean, hats off to the Sims family. They all stepped up and they literally vetoed it. They said, and here's the thing. I'll be honest with you, as just a layman reading that, I'm thinking, okay, it's 2020. And we've seen Chris Sims did a fantastic job on CBS. He's a great prognosticator, but he kind of stepped back. His family took over and said, oh, hell no. And I'm like, okay, at this point, is he just not have his faculties enough to say no? Or was he just being the guy that he is, a kind guy that Chris Sims always was? But the family said, no, you don't use number 11. And that brings up the thing, why are we put him in the Ring of Honor, put a statue in front of the stadium, but if you retire a number, regardless of the fact there's only 99 of them or 100 if you count 0, if you retire a number, that's retired because of a reason. You shouldn't go throwing it to the latest, greatest NIL product who stepped into your team, hoping that that's going to give him a little encouragement to be a great player. He should be a great player because he's getting paid to be a great player.
I agree. I completely agree with that. Go Jets. Go St. Louis, singing the blues right now. Of course, the Jets come back from 3-1 there in hockey. By the way, Tampa Bay Lightning fans, do not fret because even though the Lightning have been eliminated, John Cooper will be back next year. He's not going to Utah. I'm just saying. Okay, let's go out to Dr. Tabitha Crosby with the claps. Thank you very much for tuning in there, Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
We got doctors tuning in here. We got people overseas tuning in here. It's a lovely day here on the Evolution.
Wait, is a doctor saying reach out to her if you have the clap, or she's just clapping for the content?
This is what I got to say to you on that.
I had to. Come on.
Right there.
All right. Leave me alone. He was a former back in the day. I am very aware he was. Emeka should be 16, says Christopher Cole. Better than crab legs. Let's see. Then let's go out to Drew Craven. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.
Wait up, little boy. Wait up.
Yeah, go Bucs.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Go Bucs. So there you go, and I think Josh was laughing. All right, without further ado, I got myself a gun this morning. Let's go out to this guy. He wanted to jump on for just a little bit, so here we go. Yes, sir, and...
What do you hear? What do you say?
With that being said, we'll get him on there, Mr. Louie from the Frozen Pirate Podcast. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend, here on a Monday night. Happy Cinco de Mayo. How you doing, man?
Living the dream. Very crappy weather out here in Massachusetts. It's been
Well, you gotta love
downpouring.
that. You gotta love that.
Yeah,
Crappy weather always in Massachusetts. With that being said, though, you've got something that happened big for you today. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back, man. What's going on?
All right. So as the listeners know, I am a blue collar worker. I am a local union member. You know, I got a huge job offer, but it's non-union. And it's like, I wouldn't say it's like life-changing, but I mean, I basically almost doubled my salary, if you will.
Whoa, that's life-changing, my friend.
So, I got a new position with a new construction company. I'm very excited to start this journey. I gave my 2 weeks in. I wish I would have gave a week because I just want to get this show started. You know what I'm saying? I just want to get on the ground running. No more being a laborer. Well, being a laborer, but now operating equipment and doing stuff that I wanted to be doing, and a place to actually grow and really build a career. But yeah, I'm very, very, very excited. I feel like I deserve this opportunity. I mean, I worked very hard and I'm excited. But we got a lot to talk about. I heard you guys talking about some numbers.
Yes.
What was that about? Because when it comes to the uniform stuff, I'm kind of like the guy, but I've been hearing stuff about numbers. I kind of came in late.
Stand by, because we're going to go out to the other co-host of this show. And then we're going to go out to our baseball guy, and then we'll get back to the number situation. So I'm going to put you in the green room really quick because we're going to talk about the Tampa Bay Rays. Stand by, Louis. Congratulations again. That is amazing stuff. I always love to hear people a part of this show doing big things outside of the show for themselves, increasing their monetary value. And by the way, we're talking about monetary value. This guy is the guy to talk to because he definitely won some shekels this weekend. Let's go out to him. Professional handicapper extraordinaire of this show, Mr. Harry the Greek. Let's go out to him, and then we will get out to Mr. L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast in just a moment. But Harry the Greek, welcome to a happy Cinco de Mayo edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. How you doing, boss?
Gentlemen, what's going on? How you doing, Ray?
Doing good, man. It sounds good tonight.
With the audio, actually, you can hear it?
Yes, you can hear a little bit, yes.
When you mean a little bit?
Sounds
Is
sexy.
it on or not?
Yeah, it
sounds sexy.
Yeah, you sound good, man. You sound good. We're joking around with you. You don't sound like you're in a tin can, like you were. And by the way, I got something for you because we have no more Tom Brady.
Wait up, little boy. Wait up.
Get your weight up right there from Baker Mayfield. There you go. So that's the next thing you can be annoyed by once I play that over and over again.
No, he's on the football team. I can actually appreciate that when I know Louis appreciated it. Louis, I see in the back room. Congratulations, brother, on your job promotion.
Yeah, he'll be on with us in just a little bit after we do our Rays segment because I definitely want to talk about the Tampa Bay Rays. And let's go out to him right now. I know we're kind of shifting around a little bit, guys. If you want to talk Rays baseball, we got you covered here with Mr. L. Bushman, Evan L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. And what difference a week makes? We were talking about a 5-game winning streak. The Rays come home. They get swept by the Kansas City Royals. They once again have a lackluster effort or get dominated by a Max Fried, whatever you want to say, on Friday night. And then they take 2 out of 3 from the New York Yankees and are now 3 games back of that team. I mean, what do you make of them? It's just like a roller coaster ride that goes up and down, especially in the AL East. Welcome to the Sports Web.
What's up, fellas? How's it going?
What's going on?
What's up, Bush?
Dude, Harry, did you invest into a mic? Because your voice sounds booming and sexy, brother.
Sexy,
I actually do have a ton.
Look at that.
Of equipment. No, seriously, man, I have a ton of equipment. I just don't use it.
Can you at least say
all the girls.
Can you do this? Can you say like slow jams tonight at 9?
Do it.
Oh,
At 95.7.
There you
Slow
go.
jam.
There you go.
Talking this evening. A little Teddy Pendergrass. Tune it in at the top and the bottom of every hour.
Love it. Listen to you, man. Back in your radio days. And by the way, this guy is not only a professional
How did you know, Evan?
handicapper, but he did some radio and back then. How long ago was that, Harry?
God, it's been a long time. I worked 2 Arbitron rated #1 radio stations right here in the Tampa Bay area.
What was the old school show with Joe Mama Johnson back in the day? And they used to do like
Joe Mama Johnson.
They used to do,
I'll tell you what,
Storm,
Tampa
that's
Bay
right,
Ray
Quiet
knows
Storm.
all about Joe Mama Johnson,
Quiet
don't you, Ray? Do you remember him or not?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I also remember that. I also remember you were locking it in for not only for Night Train Lane, you were locking it over there at 95.7. And give us your call.
It wasn't Night Train Lane. There was a guy by the name of Tremonti Watts and Johnny.
Tremonti Watts. What? That's right, Tremonti Watts.
Where do you think you got that from, man? That's going back some old school there.
It is definitely old school, and I don't know where you go with this Rays team because I can't seem to figure them out, El Bushman. I mean,
I will tell you this. I think this is what they need to do. Just stay on the road. Just stay on the road. Like Steinbrenner Field is become their Achilles heel when it comes to winning. So I think that there's one thing the Rays can do is just keep them on the road. That's all you need to do. They don't need to come home. They can just stay on the rest of the way, just to stay away and just play on the road.
Ray, you care to tell Bushman
the
little story about from a couple weeks ago? Go ahead.
Well, no, Harry, I will. But the irony is that everyone knows because of the schedule and the afternoon thunderstorms in Florida and playing over at Steinbrenner Field, which, by the way, the Rays are playing. They're paying to play at Steinbrenner Field after this weekend. They live rent-free in the Bronx, baby. But all of their games are front-end loaded. We have so many home games on the front end of the schedule. And I'm wondering, El, as we push to the middle end of the season, if we continue to hold our own here, is that going to actually play to our advantage, or are we going to get over the bugaboos we have there at Steinbrenner Field? Because every team coming in here is coming in here like, oh, it's a minor league stadium. Let's go in there and let's shoot our lights out.
You know, it's definitely something that before the beginning of the season, a lot of people were like, okay, they're going to be at Steinbrenner Field. It's going to be more hitter friendly for them. They're going to be hitting a lot more home runs out of that stadium, and that really hasn't come to fruition just yet. So I don't know if it's the curse of being at Steinbrenner Field, or I don't know. It's just a weird thing that they can play pretty well on the road, but when it comes back playing in their home stadium, and I'll put that in the quotations, they're inept and they play like crap. So I don't know, man. It's just they're hovering around 500, and that's where they've been throughout the past month and a week or so. So, I mean, is it because they've got guys on the injury list? Is it because they got guys that will be coming back pretty soon that could probably contribute? It maybe, and maybe that could push them over the 500 mark. But I think for where they are at right now, I think it's good because they're staying competitive, but like they're so inconsistent, but they're staying competitive because they're only 3 games out. And in the AL East, I mean, that's 3 games out that's pretty good because right now, I don't know what happened to the Orioles. The Orioles stink. The Blue Jays are always the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox and the Yankees, to me, aren't that great. So this is anybody's division to win or lose right now. So 3 games to me is doable for the Rays team, but it's just like we have to have more consistency. And what I saw over the weekend with them in the Bronx, I was impressed because you take 2 out of the 3 against the Yankees, who last time when you played the Yankees at your home field, you didn't do too well. So it is a roller coaster ride with this team. It's like one week it's, hey, they're gonna be on the roll, and then the next week it's like, oh, we got swept again, we suck again. So it's hard to tell with this team, and that's
we suck
again. Yeah, and that's
what it's been like. Yeah. I mean, and it comes down to the hitting, and I think one of the consistent options for this lineup has been Jonathan Aranda. Talk about him. His day he had yesterday, 3 RBIs, including a bomb, 409 feet there to right center field. And I know one of our webheads, Alex, would like him to be in the lineup full time. Stop playing these matchups. Talk about Aranda.
Actually, I want to talk about Chandler Simpson. When Chandler Simpson is on, the team wins, and he has been nothing but short of spectacular with being in that lineup with his speed. And when he hits, he's on base, and you can bet your butt he's going to be scoring whoever hits him home. He can be on first base, and if somebody hits like a liner into to right field, he's going to be scoring or he's going to be on third. So I want to talk about him. I think he's been nothing but a breath of fresh air in that lineup, where you have just the speed, and the way he's playing is look, the guy loves baseball. The guy loves playing baseball, and that's the type of mentality and the type of players that you want into the lineup too as well. Aranda, I think we've talked about him before, where a lot of people gave up on him because of what we have seen in the past with him being so bad at the plate. So whatever clicked this offseason has just been, I think he is probably going to be the lone representative from the Rays that's going to make the All-Star team if he keeps it up the way he is.
And going back to the fact that, hold on, Ray.
Ahead,
Hold on. Going back to Simpson here, he's batting .296 with 4 RBIs, 9 runs, 648 OPS, and 0.1 WAR through 14 games. But also, this is according to baseball history here. He's the first player to record at least 15 singles, 6 stolen bases through his first 14 career games since Julio Bourbon did it with the Texas Rangers in 2009. And the thing that I like about him, he seems like a throwback, right, Al? He seems like a prototypical leadoff man. He's going to bunt. He is not necessarily going to hit for power. He just needs to make contact. But even when he hits the ball on the ground, it's not a certainty that that's going to be an out because he has so much speed. He showed that yesterday, how he can make things happen, especially on the base pass where he's scoring from second base. I mean, he needs to be in this lineup. He needs to be the leadoff man. The Rays need to take advantage of it and get him on base as much as possible. I don't care if he hits home runs. Just make contact with the ball. Use your speed because it could definitely help this lineup, right?
I tell you, I agree with everything you said there. And what's funny about it is he is the physical manifestation of Willie Mays Hayes.
That's it. I mean, that's what I was thinking of.
If Willie Mays Hayes was a real person, Chandler Simpson is that. That is Chandler Simpson. He is Willie Mays Hayes. Just the style of play he plays, the speed, the way he gets on base, the way he plays in the outfield. He is Willie Mays Hayes, the physical embodiment of that character from Major League, which is crazy because every time I watch him play, I'm like, is Willie Mays Hayes out there? Is Wesley Snipes out there or something? No, it's Chandler Simpson. Okay.
Right.
And don't mention the fact that he bunts yesterday and he's safe at first, right? Because he can't throw him out. And that's the aspect he brings. It's not only has he got a great bat and that speed, but does the infield play him into bunt that could possibly get on first? Do they play him deep because he can get contact on the ball and his speed's going to get him there? They're not going to be able to double him up. And that's literally the part that was missing from this Rays offense. And guys and girls, of those few Rays fans out there, if you haven't had a chance, go back and Google this. This is the guy that in college, he actually on second base, he made it home on a sacrifice fly because of his speed, and speed kills. You put that into this lineup, but then of course everyone else has to keep lining up. Yesterday's game, El, let me ask you this: with yesterday's game, you heard Kevin Cash before the season started. We're working on moving guys over and getting runners home in scoring position. Yesterday was probably the most complete game they've played in 2025 to accomplish that task, to move guys over, to get guys home. Not small ball, just contact ball and moving bases, moving runners up bases.
What was the question?
Yesterday's game. Have you seen it? I mean, we had some great games this season, but yesterday's game, everybody was making contacts.
Even Taylor Walls was. He was 4 for 4 yesterday, which is surprising.
Yes.
So if you had a prop bet on him, you probably cashed out pretty big for him getting 4 hits yesterday. So I think yesterday was the most complete game because everybody in the lineup did contribute a hit. And that's what you want to see is a consistent lineup. And that's something they've really struggled with this past year is the consistency and also getting runners in scoring position across home plate. So, I don't want to say this is a thing. This looks like a thing for things to come, but it could be. Maybe the offense is starting to gel together after a month or so. I don't know, but I don't want to hype things up and then bam, when we play the Phillies tomorrow, it's going to be a shutout again for the Rays. So, hopefully they can continue the momentum that they played against the Yankees coming back to their home field against the Phillies, which is going to be a tough matchup the first game. I think Zach Wheeler is on the mound tomorrow for the Phillies.
Harry, you got a question?
No question. I predicted this team on their big road trip that they had, and I was talking to Ray that they would come out smelling like a rose on it. Ray was like, no way. And as I'm telling you, they're going to come back winning record off that road trip. You're right. They're having a problem playing at home.
Yep.
Then again, they're a good baseball team. Are they great? No, they're not great. They're just like they were last year. They could sneak into the playoffs. this particular division is not playing its best baseball right now. The difference between the Rays and the Yankees are the Yankees actually have some hitters. They only have 2 pitchers. Tampa's loaded with pitchers. Bullpen's mediocre, in my opinion, but their sticks, they need to come to life. This is anybody's division except for Baltimore's. Toronto's going to have a real hard time. They're not pitching all that great, but they can hit the baseball. And Boston, I'm not sold on them. Everybody's talking about Boston, man. I'm going to tell you something. They're not as good as what people think. And I'm going to make you a real big prediction here, Evan. You ready?
Sure.
Who's that stud lefty they got from the White Sox again? Garrett Crochet, remember?
I do.
He doesn't make past mid-August. They're pitching him way too many pitches again.
I can agree with that. I could also tell. I'll have a prediction for you too. The Rays stick around. They're 1 or 2 games above 500 or at 500 or below 500. They will make a big splash at the trade deadline, and I mean a big trade splash.
What makes you say that though?
Wow,
when have they done this before?
Wait a minute! Don't tease me now. What, you hearing something? Because Rays fans.
Is Sternberg still the owner?
Yeah.
I'm putting on my Johnny Carson, big hat from the Johnny
great
Carson.
Wallenda.
The great Wallenda, and I'm going to predict it right now. If they're where they're at, like near the trade deadline or a little bit above, where they're probably going to make a run for the playoffs, they're going to make a big splash at the trade deadline.
I'll make a prediction.
They're not
right
going to
now.
find pitching. Sorry, Ray. They're not going to find pitching.
No, they don't
because
need
the
pitching,
Yankees are
Harry.
going to go out and buy as
No,
much
they're not
as
going
they
to go
want.
find pitching. They're going to
Flanagan will be back.
They're going to need to find sticks. The Yankees are going to go out and get a bullpen player and probably a couple of starters, and they're going to be front line rotational guys.
The Rays will go out and get some sticks. They will get some sticks.
We're going to get Kim back at shortstop. Kim's going to get back at shortstop. Walls becomes a luxury if he is actually hitting the ball. And I'm going to make a prediction right now. This 3-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies, because they literally play up the street at whatever it is, Bright House or whatever field it is now. This is like literally probably half the team coming in for this 3-game series starting tomorrow. The guys are probably staying at their spring houses, right? They probably own houses here. But the Rays have to make a stand right now, because I don't care if it's because you're displaced because Tropicana Field or you're playing at the Yankee Steinbrenner, in the city of St. Petersburg, paying $16 million for you to be there. This is the big series and the National League. So we went out, we did pretty good against the National League on the road. Now you got the Phillies at home. The Rays have to bow up and stand up against these Phillies at home. If they come out of this 2 of 3 or 3 of 3 and they get this series, they've won the last 3 road series. They can win this road series at home. It could be a turnaround for the entire month of May, and that could be a big difference in the 2025 season.
We're on with the El Bushman of the
Rays
Rewind podcast. You got the Greek, Harry the Greek here, professional handicapper extraordinaire, best of the Bay, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. I'm your host, Peter Blake of the Sports Web. If you want to talk Rays tonight with El Bushman, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Talk about Taj Bradley, because I definitely think we always talk about evolution. I think he's evolved as a pitcher. He's getting deeper into games. What have you seen from him? What did you see from him yesterday? What have you seen from him in the last couple starts?
Well, he definitely has stepped it up. I mean, he stopped a 3-start winless streak, only allowing 2 runs and 4 hits over 5 1/3. So it's definitely a step in the right direction, because I've always had high hopes with Taj because of what we saw last year, especially in the first half. So, I think coming out of the gate, the pitching for the Rays has been kind of like a roller coaster, just like the whole team is. So maybe I think now, since we're getting into the actual season itself, because this is where teams are going to start to separate, and we'll see this going into the summer months. Taj is really kind of have to be really the stepping up as the number 2, because Pepio has been struggling here and there. So if Taj can give us, more of what we saw against the Yankees, that's what hopefully a lot of people are expecting is for him to return to that first half form that he was last year, but hopefully not gassing out in the second half. So if he can put it all together, he's going to be pretty scary, keep going forward. So I liked what his start was yesterday. It really kind of was a tune-up for him, almost more like a pat in the back, like, hey, kid, you're going to be all right. So that was it was encouraging to see that yesterday.
Yeah, and I think it was also encouraging to see Pete Fairbanks, who's had his troubles, but that was an impressive save yesterday, going right to the lineup, striking out Judge, striking out Grisham, who's given this team all kinds of problems, and striking out the other hitter, 3 strikeouts. I mean, that's exactly what you want from your closer, from Fairbanks. Was he pumped up yesterday? But what did you think of Fairbanks on that save yesterday versus the Yankees?
Listen, I love it. He's 8 for 8 now for saves, and I think everybody needs to calm down, especially after the first half of the first month of the season where the bullpen was looking kind of spooky and everybody was saying, oh, the Achilles heel, ESPN was right. The bullpen stinks. Well, it's only the first month of the season. So there's a lot more baseball to go. So,
yeah.
I think with Pete, the way he's been rolling the past few games too, it's, like I said before, it's a pat in the back. It's like, hey kid, you're going to be okay. So, that save yesterday, man, Pete's a weird guy anyways. So to see him pumped up about it, like I saw an interview the other day on MLB Network, and he's just a weird dude. And to be honest with you, I love a team that has a weird closer. Because it kind of reminds me of the days where Eric Gagne was a closer for the Giants, and he was a weird dude. So if you have a weird closer, you're going to be okay in the bullpen.
Listen, I got you where the
weirder the better, man.
I got your weird closers here. You got Mitch Williams.
Mm-hmm.
You got Rob Dibble.
He was Brian Wilson. Wilson too.
Trevor Hoffman had his deal where he had his hat low. I mean, you've got to have, Randy Myers for the Cubs. I always go back to the Cubs because first team, Myers for the Cubs. I know Roberto Hernandez.
He wasn't weird.
He wasn't weird, but
Roberto
wasn't
about
weird.
Roberto. Roberto wanted to kill you. You used to point to the dugout and go, "Come here, you get in the box. Let's go."
You can say Jonathan Papelbon was weird, but he was also like a big asshole. So I mean,
you have to have that intimidating.
Pappy was a big asshole. You're correct.
Listen,
talking about the Rays, you're talking about hitting. What happened to Eloy Jimenez?
I mean,
really?
he's just kind of waiting in the wings for some.
I mean, he's a stick. Man. You talk about a stick, you put him in a 3 and 4 hole, and he gets on fire. It's something
Harry,
special to watch.
I've been waiting for him to come up, but I guess there's not a spot for him just yet.
It's a numbers game. They've had so many guys have to come up to replace injuries.
How about a season setup guy, right?
Well,
how about the season setup guy they still got sitting in the minors and Joey Kriebel?
I would say
why isn't Joey?
Listen, I would answer this question with Eloy Jimenez. When is it time for Curtis Mead to go bye-bye? I mean, does this guy belong on the roster? I mean,
I think Curtis Mead might have some incriminating evidence against Kevin Cash and the rest of the front office. That's probably why he's still there.
I think it's kind of the same thing.
Bushman, you're just bringing it tonight.
Well, I'm baffled too, man.
Listen, it's like Jeff Fisher. Listen, it's like Jeff Fisher all those years, being the coach of the Titans or whatever team he was. He had incriminating pictures of that team. And I just don't understand how Curtis Mead is still on this roster. I get it. They want to see what he's got. He had a great spring training. But it didn't transition, and it's not transitioning. It's not getting any better for me. That's where you bring up an Eloy Jimenez. So what do you make?
Peter, I got to go ahead and let me drop this right now. Jeff Fisher, who's with the FS1 or whatever, the Arena Football League, and of course they announced today that John Gruden's now part of that entire deal. Jeff Fisher is literally the commissioner of whatever of the latest and greatest Arena Football League. So I just want to throw it while you dropped Jeff Fisher. I'll throw it out there. It's applicable news because John Gruden is Chucky, but it's just crazy. But yeah, I mean, what does Meade have on this team that he continues to stay up here, and what is Kevin Cash? Why is he delaying to put him down and bring someone else up?
I think it's just they wanted to give this kid so many chances. And look, again, we're still only like a month and a week in. So it's like, okay, how much more of a sample size do we need where it may be too late for this kid? I don't know. I mean, he had a good series against the Yankees. So maybe they see something that we don't. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of baffled by the decision too. When we've got big sticks like Eloy Jimenez down in the minors, just, waiting to come up and hit some bombs for us. We keep guys like Curtis Mead up here and Taylor Walls but of course, look, we've got injuries. We've got, Magnum is hurt, Mangum is hurt. So it's, and Meisner too. So the 2 of your guys are hurt or on the IL, and there isn't really a spot for, Eloy right now. So I will say this, you will probably see him sometime soon.
Well, I will tell you, I just received a text message. Thanks for tuning in. One of the reasons why Eloy is still in the minors is the same reason why the White Sox got rid of him. 2 reasons. The injury was Chicago. He hasn't shown that down here in Tampa. The biggest reason is he wants to play a position in the outfield and or first base.
Yeah, they're not going to let him
do it. And they don't want to let him do it, and he is being stubborn. So when he finally concedes to the fact that he's not going to be a position player, he's going to come up and bat about 260 to 270 and knock 30 to 40 homers with 100 ribbies. Watch. But this is a problem where this young man thinks that he's a great outfielder, he's a great first baseman. I mean, every time he catches the ball, he's like jumping up and down. Hey, I caught a fly ball. You can't have that in the major leagues. He needs to be a DH. Thank you for go ahead and texting that to me. You are absolutely correct.
Well,
Yeah,
Barry
yeah,
Leither,
I mean-
Harry, you got a text that's the reason why we're watching the evolution of sports here on a Monday night, because you are getting texts that are real time. And
I mean, if he thinks he's going to come up
exactly.
and play first base, I mean, you've got, Aranda who's just hitting the cover off the ball, and also Yandy Diaz who plays first base as well. Two guys that you're not going to replace anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, he's got to kind of bite his lip a little bit. And look, I would love to be paid millions of dollars just to be a DH and just hit. That's my only job. I'm okay with that. I mean, David Ortiz did it for a while too. So I think he's got to know his place on the team. It's like, look, all we need you to do is hit dingers. We don't need you to play out in the outfield or in first base. We've got people to do that. We just need you to hit home runs and score runs for us. So just do that. We'll pay you money. Just do that. So he's got to kind of get over that ego thing and realize, look, this team needs him to hit.
It was like that in Chicago with him, unfortunately. Great player.
Well,
and I'm telling you, he's got so much talent. I'll tell you what, when he goes on a heater, there's nothing better than to watch Eloy Jimenez swing a baseball bat. I'm telling you.
I do say this. We will probably see him eventually be up, probably later on the second half of the season. So he'll be up.
all right. Let me ask you this. Couple more questions, and we'll get you out of here. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. After the Rays take 2 out of 3 from the New York Yankees here on the Sports Web. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake. Brandon Lau. Is he starting to come out of this now? It seems like he's a streaky hitter. We know that he can get into these moments or these phases, if you will, of the season where he can hit everything. You saw that yesterday. He strikes out 2 times. And then the first pitch, he takes the ball to left field there for a big, 2-run single. Is he going to come out of this, you think? Is this the key, in your opinion, to this lineup to progressively get better and for the Rays to score more than 1 or 2 runs, which is what they went into when they had this losing streak?
I think in the perfect world, we want to say yes, he'll come out of it. But I think in reality, it's just the way he is. He's just a streaky hitter. And, we're not going to see him the way he was when he hit 30 home runs, that one magical season that he had. But I think this is where he's at now. He's a streaky hitter, and that's the reality of things. And look, streak now, I'm cool with that. Get maybe cold when you maybe in the middle of the summer, but again, get a hot again in the second half. He frustrates me as well because there's so much hype with him, and the Rays bring him back every single year thinking he's going to hit 30 home runs again, but he's not. So, if he wants to be a streaky hitter, okay, that's cool. You can be a Randy Arozarena if you want, but, make it count. That's all I got to say. So, I think this will be his last year probably with the Rays, but I think as of right now, don't expect 30 home runs again. Just expect him.
He can do it.
He can, but
Bushman. He can, but the problem is he's not.
He's not.
And pitchers are starting to learn how to. First off, he can't hit a breaking ball away from him. He is a sucker for that. He can you give him a fastball down the middle, he's going to take you a yard almost every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have players like that, instead of hitting 30 home runs, wouldn't you be happy with 18 to 22 with about 90 ribbies and then batting 270 or 290? Learn how to go oppo. Put the ball in play. I mean, Ray, you were just talking about earlier today when you're talking about small ball and what speed does. It's a lost art in Major League Baseball. But Tampa, let me tell you something. You can generate and manufacture runs, and it doesn't have to be by the long ball. Get them on, get them over, get them in.
Yeah,
I want to ask El this.
Yeah.
I want to ask El, is Brandon Lau, is he your 2025 version of Kevin Kiermaier, your team leader by default because he happens to be, has the most seniority? Or Chandler Simpson and Aranda at first. We got some dogs on this team. Who do you see stepping up into the role of leader for this team? Because right now it seems like there's a lot of dogs that could be that leader, but nobody's quite yet taken that role as far as leader of the Rays for 2025.
I would say for the Brandon Lau thing, I would say he reminds me of Carlos Pena because he's either hitting a home run or he's striking out. So he reminds me of Sir Carlos Pena. For leaders in the clubhouse, I think a lot of the guys are stepping up. Chandler Simpson is especially too, and him and Junior Caminero as well. But the elder statesmen in the clubhouse, look, if they don't want to be a leader, that's fine, but just produce. I think that's what we all want you to do is produce. So look, the leadership will come, especially with the young guys. But as of right now, I think the biggest thing for Rays fans too is we want this team to just be more consistent, throughout the year instead of just having these roller coasters of a week where one week everybody on Twitter or X or Facebook just want everybody's heads and want everybody to get fired and sent down to the minors, and then the next week everybody loves them again. So, I think that's where we're at with this team is just win, baby, and just win, just be a competitive, good-looking baseball team. And when they they're great. They're fun to watch. And when they play horrible, it's like, God, I'm gonna cancel my FanDuel Sports Network subscription and not watch this team the rest of the year. So I think that's where a lot of Rays fans are, is just like, just be consistent, man. We're tired of this up and down team where one week it's all gravy and then the next week it's just like, I'm going to throw my TV across the room.
All right, a last question here. We'll get you out of here on this. What do you make of the Orlando Dreamers? $2.5 billion. A lot of people saying now this could be the threat where the Rays go from Tampa, St. Pete to now Orlando. What do you make of this situation? Is it a pipe dream? Because I think their name suits them very well there. I get it. Pat Williams of the Orlando Magic was the one who came up with it. They got Barry Larkin. They've got some investors. What do you make of this situation? Should Rays fans be concerned about this threat from Orlando?
No, not at all. They can keep dreaming, as the name would say. So just keep dreaming, Orlando. I mean, look, if the Major League Baseball wants to put a franchise in Orlando, go do it. But you're not going to get the Rays from Tampa. I think Manfred has already said Tampa's the market that they want them to stay in, and Stu has to have permission from the rest of the owners to move the team, and I don't think he's going to move to Orlando anyways. And Major League Baseball is looking at Charlotte and Nashville too for the expansions next year, so I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon for Orlando. I mean, Orlando's a great city. I mean, it has lots of things to do for the kiddies, for Disney and Universal and the Magic and all that, but I don't think there'll be baseball anytime soon. I mean, look,
let me ask you this.
Nothing against the city of Orlando. I used to live there, but I don't think it's. Look, they got to fix I-4 first.
No, but Al, let me ask you this. So
traveling
I get this.
To or to Tampa on I-75 was bad, or 275. Yeah, I-4 traffic.
Oh, it sucks. There's no train either because the government didn't want the federal dollars for that, but we'll go there another night. But let me ask you, though. You're telling me, though, that 29 other owners are going to be very happy to tell Rob Manfred they cannot move out of the number 11 market to number 15 market in television. They cannot move them, even though they stand to possibly get a $2 billion or more sale to move a team there. And all the other owners are going to do that. They're going to say, no, you can't do it literally at the cost of them being someday they may be in the same situation where their market's not working. And I'm not saying Tampa Bay's not working, but if the Hillsborough County's not getting a stadium and Sternberg's already burned his bridges over there, and Rob Manfred said, I want to keep the team in the market. Do we really think that all the lies we've been told by commissioners in Major League Baseball or professional owners over general, if it ends up being the Central Florida market, not just the Tampa Bay market, do we really feel like that couldn't possibly be? And I'm praying that the Rays don't go anywhere else, because I will never root for them, even if they retain the Rays name. But at the end of the day, if something doesn't get done here, they started the season in Japan for 2 games. Half of the league doesn't even habla inglés. So to tell me that you're going to put it in the number 1 international destination in the world, which happens to be the Mouse House. I mean, I'm not saying it happens, but you got to at least admit, El, there's some of us that are looking at it going, yeah, it's a possibility, probably not.
They're not moving there, Ray.
Look,
they're not moving there. It's just like the Supertramp song, okay, from the 70s, Dreamers. That's exactly what it's all about. Major League Baseball is not letting this. You want great coverage on Major League, and you want great coverage on the Tampa Bay Rays. Listen to J.P. Peterson. The end. The guy has every bit of knowledge. His ears completely to the ground. This team's not leaving. This is just nothing but a bunch of hype that's been generated, in my opinion, by Stu Sternberg, because he's got everybody by the cojones in Pinellas and Hillsborough County.
Well, it's Larkin in them. It's the Dreamers in Orlando. And I'm also going to go ahead and pose with this. Who just dropped Major League Baseball this year as a sponsor? ESPN drops them. You can barely catch highlights on them because they're now in hockey and basketball, which I hope you love basketball because that's all they run. And
who watched the basketball game in how long?
Well, right. But who owns Disney? Oh, yeah. ABC and ESPN. So, I mean, if you got a team there, by default, now you're in the game and you don't have to pay $1 billion to cover the sport. you got a goddamn team in the league. So I'm just saying is, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what I've been saying all along is, let's get it done, Tampa. Those deep pockets, whoever you are, it's going to be
the reason why you can't get it done is always the constant of this whole the fiasco or disaster or whatever you want to call it, is Stu Sternberg.
Money talks, Pete. Money talks.
No. It's about Stu not getting enough money. It's about the owners getting tired of him taking from the bigger market teams, not investing in this team. Really what it comes down to here, L, in my opinion, is the fact that Stu doesn't want to sell the team because he wants a part of that expansion money. And most likely the commissioner and the owners know this. So how long do you have to wait until Stu sells this team, in your opinion?
I think it's coming. Probably. And look, the timing.
Be careful. You're going to get hate mail.
I don't care. Nobody knows my email address anyways. I think at this point.
They're coming now.
Yeah, whatever, man.
You hate the Rays.
Email me.
You hate the Bucs. You hate the Lightning.
I think at this point, with the whole Orlando Dreamers thing and what we had to witness like in the offseason with this whole, plan with St. Pete falling through yet again. I think with the way the Rays are, and the way that, we heard from, sources, JP Peterson himself, where, there were a ton of groups just interested in buying the Rays and keeping them in Tampa Bay. They're not going anywhere. Orlando can keep dreaming and keep dreaming about a baseball team coming to Orlando. That's great. It's a good thing, but I don't think this market's going to lose a team anytime soon just because of the owner being making everybody into a logjam. At this point, there are gonna be people lined up, and there already are, to buy the team and keep it here because this is one of the best markets when it comes to sports. Look, yeah, you can move the team to Orlando where it's the Mouse House and Disney owns ESPN and ABC, but
international, Japanese.
Yeah, but you got to look at it this way, Ray. Like ESPN.
They can't draw, by the way. They've had trouble with drawing. Have they not had problems with drawing there when it comes to spring training?
Yeah, and you also look at it this way. ESPN and ABC, especially ESPN, is not going to invest into a baseball team where their main coverage is the Lakers, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, and the Yankees. They don't care about small market team or mid-market teams, which the Rays are classified as. So they're not going to invest in anything like that, where ESPN's prime target is hot takes about if Shador Sanders fell into the 5th round and why he wasn't even drafted in the 1st. So that's the biggest thing with ESPN is let's create a bunch of hot takes and have everybody talk about it the next day. They could give two shits about Major League Baseball, and that's why Major League Baseball doesn't want to work with ESPN anymore.
Keep preaching, brother.
So, to say that they're going to move the team to Orlando just to have the Mouse House underneath them, look, it's a great conspiracy theory. I think it is, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. It's something that the people of Orlando, those big business guys over there, can flash their $2 billion around, but you have to have. You have to have this agreement from Stu Sternberg of, hey, I'm going to move this team. I'm going to sell to you for $2 billion, where I could probably make a lot more in the Tampa Bay area, where I've got guys lining up. They'll probably match your $2 billion and give me even more than that. I'll create a bidding war to do whatever I want to do. But I think at this point, there is probably a deal in place. There's probably a couple deals in place. I think it's the right time of when it's going to sell. And it's probably going to sell here in Tampa. But hey, look, I don't know much. I could probably be totally wrong and say like Orlando comes swooping in and it's going to offer Stu like $3 billion and say, hey, we'll take your team and
they don't have a team.
Orlando.
They're buying their way in.
But the thing is, there's so many moving parts to this whole thing, especially with Major League Baseball and the ownerships. It's like they have to be on the same page. And I don't think there's been any kind of rumblings from Major League Baseball, especially the owners saying, hey, we want to move the Tampa Bay Rays over to Orlando just because a group of guys got $2 billion to say, hey, we can bring them over. But they've even kind of taken a step back, that this ownership group is saying, hey, we're not trying to court the Rays. We just want to say to Major League Baseball, we want a team. It may not be the Rays, but we want a team no matter what. So
let me leave you with this question. I just $2 billion is what an expansion team fee would be. It comes out to $68 million per team. And I'm not, again, I still think baseball works here. I still Tampa Bay is a large enough market. Number 11, not number 15, which is Orlando, which is only 4 spots. But I'm just telling you that if I'm a billionaire, multi-billionaire, I'm looking to buy a team, I'm going to have to build a stadium. Hillsboro's not going to give me – the taxpayers in Hillsboro, after Helene and Milton especially, they're not going to build my stadium. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to fund a stadium. I need 40 acres. They've already told me that Ebor's not available because that's built out. So I'm looking at maybe West Shore. Maybe I'm going back to St. Pete over at Derby Lane. Maybe I'm going back to the gas plant district. But tomorrow's game, the Phillies are in town. And if there's more Philly fans than Rays fans over there, which I kind of hate to say, I probably feel it's going to be the case. I'm, as an owner, looking at that thinking, do I really want to spend $3 or $4 billion to buy a team and get a stadium in that when I've got more Phillies fans on a Tuesday than Rays games? And I heard that when they moved to Orlando or when they moved to Hillsborough, every game is going to be mobbed with Rays fans. I'm not, it's been a tough
Yeah, but
look.
don't you think if they move to Orlando, it's going to even be worse because there's more transplants in the Orlando area and more travelers that go through Orlando because of the parks and everything else? Don't you think there's
Is
going to
that
be
why Major League Baseball Is that why Major League Baseball started the season in Japan? Because of the travelers to Orlando in the summer? And I'll tell you right now, I've been to Orlando I've had season passes for Orlando. If you go over there between June and August, you better habla español because there's nobody there speaking English because all of our South Americans and our countries, they come over here this time of year. So if you're talking about a league that literally half the players in the league speak Espanol, and now you're catering to a Japan who loves Disney, you're catering to a China or whomever. Now I'm thinking, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that the lines do connect, and we got to get a deal done here in Tampa. Get it done now. So we
and I don't think the lines connect at all. I think the line that everybody wants it to connect is that Stu is trying to do this to try to drum up support. And this is what they've always done. This is what Major League Baseball has done to the Bay Area. That's why the Bay Area sued their ass when they passed over for expansion for the Florida Marlins. They tried to do this, and they've threatened Major League Baseball to sue them, and that's why they got the Rays in the first place. So I don't think they want to go down this road once again. It is a fear tactic. It's what Major League Baseball has done over and over again to the Tampa Bay area, whether it was the White Sox, the Mariners, the Giants, the Twins. At the time, they've done this, and they're not doing it again.
Watch the attendance tomorrow. Watch the attendance tomorrow.
About the attendance tomorrow.
I'm just saying, well, tomorrow you watch. It's a billionaire. If I got deep pockets, I'm looking at the game tomorrow. If I see 7,000 Phillies fans and 4,000 Rays fans, why am I investing my money in that?
Because you got the same damn owner that's in charge of this team. And
forget Sternberg. I'm the new owner.
I'm
the new owner. But why am I buying this team? If I see 7,000 Phillies fans and 4,000 Rays fans tomorrow at Steinbrenner Field, why am I buying this team? For television revenue?
I would say this too, Ray. I think a lot of people that don't show up to the games are pretty much doing that out of protest because Stu is still the owner too as well. I think a lot of people
support this team.
A lot of people don't want to go to the games to put more money into Stu's pockets, and that's why you see a lot of Rays fans kind of gun shy about going to these games because they just hate the owner so much. So when you get a new owner in place, then you're going to have that flip of the script where people are going to go because the bad owner is out. New ownership is in that's going to support the team, put money into the team, get free agents to come here, the big flashy free agents, and make this team not a mid-market, small market, but into a big market now. I think that's why a lot of people don't show up is because of the owner. And I like what two giant goofballs said in the comments is, look, I've always said put it at the fairgrounds because you get the I-4 traffic and the I-75 traffic merging in together. You have one central spot. That's where you put the team, and that's where you need to go. Other than that, I think where we're at with this team is they'll be in Tampa. They're not moving to Orlando anytime soon. But I think it just comes down to if Major League Baseball can convince Stu to sell the team, or if Stu is about ready to go, you know what, I'm tired of this crap every single year. I think it's time for me to sell and move on. So either way, I think a deal is going to be coming. Probably not this year. I would say maybe you'll hear rumblings again by the end of this year, early next year, that a deal is probably going to be in place where he's going to sell the team.
Peter, I got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
The question's for you.
Yes.
What do you think they're going to do? I don't want anything from anybody. I'm going to go full screen to you. What do you honestly think is going to happen here? You're the one that's closest to the man who actually has all the knowledge about this. What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, from my sources, I've heard this about a year and a half ago that Major League Baseball is disappointed in Stu Sternberg because over the years, he has taken money from the big market teams and they want to force him out. They want him to sell. So eventually he will sell this team. He will be forced to sell this team and get a new owner in here, and it will end up somewhere in Tampa. And you guys are close. We'll see where the location is, but it will be in the Tampa Bay area. I do not think it will be in St. Pete. I think it will be in Tampa, and that's where Major League Baseball wants it. And that is what Rob Manfred has said over and over again. He wants to stick with this Tampa Bay area. Furthermore, There's also been talks of Manfred with DeSantis talking about getting a deal and getting a stadium done for the Tampa Bay Rays in the Tampa Bay area. That has been confirmed. So for me, it's going to all work out in the favor of the Tampa Bay sports fan, where they're going to get new ownership, where they're going to get somebody who gives a damn about the Tampa Bay Rays, much like Jeff Finnick of the Tampa Bay Lightning, much like the Glazers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Thanks. I appreciate it. So that narrative is put to rest.
Yeah, I said a Hail Mary. My prayers have been said. Let's hope for that. I mean, I hope for that.
We can all argue, disagree, or agree, disagree, agree. All I know is this team's a 500 team. The owner sucks. I think we all, except for Ray, really agrees on it. I mean, because Ray, I think you do support.
Well, how does the stadium get funded in Tampa? Again, who funds the stadium? Because not only does somebody have to pay Stu Sternberg north of $2 billion to buy this team, which is probably what it take that money monger to move off this team, but they've also got to figure out a way to get a stadium built, and they're not going to get any. They're going to get tax breaks from Hillsborough County, but they're going to get no money.
Trust
so
me,
you're going to build
anybody that's going to make a play to buy this team will already have a plan for the property.
But what's the plan? They're going to do like a wave pool, and everyone's going to come. I mean, what is going to happen?
Ray, that's way above our. That's just so far.
Baseball. Tampa Bay is a TV baseball town. We love our team, but we just assume watch them on TV, then go sit in the stands. And as a billionaire, why am I working to buy a $2 billion team and build a $3 billion stadium so I can hope that people come play and they weren't protesting the previous owner?
I thought I put that narrative to bed, Ray. I'm sorry I didn't, but I'm going to tell you why. It all circles back to the owner. Okay, this all circles back to the guy that doesn't want to come off his wallet. I love the passion that Al Bushman's putting on there. And I'll bet you anything, Al Bushman, they ain't making a splash for anything. They've never made a splash. I mean, a real significant splash. I can't remember the last time.
Well, Harry, I just hope that splash doesn't ever come through and Barry Larkin and the Dreamers do splash. And at the end of the day, what does baseball lose? What if they move? Is baseball bad? Do we find out the cornfield didn't have Kevin Costner pitching to his dad and build it and it will come? I mean, at the end of the day, they moved to an international market. They started the season in Japan.
Again, Manfred knows.
They literally are catering to an international market.
Listen, Manfred knows that this is a terrible owner. And the reason why he knows that is because he knows that this guy does not give a damn. This guy is the one that's been holding up the deal the last 10 to 15 years.
Horrible.
What deal?
The deal in Ybor, the deal in St. Pete. What about
the deal from Derby Lane that was supposed to happen that people weren't talking about?
Nothing ever comes.
But they missed the boat. Hold on, man. They missed the boat at Derby Lane here in St. Pete because it puts them right between Hillsborough and Pinellas. It's 5 minutes across the Gandy. Yeah. It's 15 minutes from South St. Pete. It's 20 minutes from Clearwater. It would have been ideal. So instead, they sell Derby Lane and all 200 acres of it to some unknown conglomerate from up.
Who's going to get money if they build a stadium there? But Harry, if Sternberg was handling your retirement funds and he held on to this team, and then he somehow got Barry Larkin and Dreamers interested, and they sold for $2.2 billion instead of $1.8 billion in Tampa Bay, and Harry, you ended up getting paid an extra $3,000 a month the rest of your life, did Stu Sternberg do right by you? Yes or no?
I don't hypothecate
as your retirement fund guy, and Sternberg's a fund guy. That's what he does.
No one's going to pay $2.2 billion.
This team will not sell for below $2.2 billion.
It will go below $2 billion because they're not guaranteed. They're not a major market team.
This team will sell for like 1.3, 1.5. That's
if they sell for 1.3.5, I will. It'll be 2 cups, 1 guy, and I'll do it both with me. There's no way this team sells for south of $2 billion.
That's horrifying and disgusting. You would say that, but no, this team is not. I know, right? There's no way. There's no way.
Wait, this is not the major market teams from Chicago or even Philadelphia.
No, they're not major market. You're talking about an Orlando team that Barry Larkin. You get there like and Morgan for the people. They're like ready to buy a team. So they're in there.
This market is bigger. This market is smaller than the Cleveland Indians. Look up what Cleveland's worth. And
I know the market sizes. We've also got the worst attendance, but it's a Major League Baseball team.
Why you have the worst attendance? What? It is the constant. It's been the constant forever now.
The owner.
It's the owner. He keeps on running his fat freaking trap. He's ran it over and over again, and that has done the damage to this fan base. The damage.
There you go. Put this narrative to bed. That's the evaluation. So you think, Ray, that
that's
someone's going to come in and pay another $1 billion? You know, let me
You
Let me
think
put
that
that into
under Daniel
perspective.
Snyder, the Washington Commanders are worth more than $3 billion, but they just got sold for $6.1 billion? I mean, it's the valuation's one thing. The valuations are like, tits. If my uncle had tits, he'd be my aunt.
Okay,
The truth of the matter is,
easy. Ray. Hold on a minute. Evan L. Bushman of the Raise Rewind podcast.
Sorry,
Go
Al.
ahead and promote yourself. Yes.
Thanks,
Evan,
fellas.
you
It's
don't
been
want to
great.
hang for this.
No, I gotta go, fellas. So yeah, I think we got a new episode recording on Wednesday, so you guys will be hearing from me and Drew. Once you get to follow us at the Sick Podcast, Raise Rewind on YouTube, and hit that subscribe and notification bell.
And look at the kid in the background
Sorry,
there, little L. Bushman right there. Thanks
Future,
a lot.
future Tampa Bay Ray right
sorry
here.
for my language. Al,
All right.
sorry for my language.
No, you're good. I have headphones on. He can't hear you.
All right. There you go.
Right.
All right, man.
In that
Appreciate
case.
it as always. All right. Good stuff there. Let's go out to this guy right here. We'll move into Bucs here in just a little bit, but we can continue this Rays talk. Louis from the Frozen Pirate podcast. And
I got a headache. Please, no more Rays talk.
well,
We're not even a 500 team, guys.
Well, again, the problem for me is everybody will sit there and say attendance. But what is the reason for the low attendance? Well, the reason for the low attendance is because the owner has never stopped talking about moving or getting a new stadium. Second, when you got a guy that is a multimillionaire and he's not endearing himself to the people, to the blue collar people here in the Tampa Bay area, they don't want to support it. They support it in a different way. Tampa Bay Ray, they stay at home and watch it. By the way, all the TV money that all the teams are getting, where's that money gone? Furthermore, you've had how many fan favorites walk out the door? How much talent has walked out the door? You've never won a World Series. The Florida Marlins have won 2. The Arizona Diamondbacks have won 1. And by the way, this team is so analytically inclined to talk about numbers, but the number that they always fail to look at is the number of how much did they spend over the last 10 to 15 years. There has only been one team in the last 25 years that has won a World Series with 15th or lower when it comes to salary cap. Why don't the Rays look at that? They're analytically inclined. They're supposed to be looking at numbers, and yet they won't look at that. And fans see all this, and they've had to experience this for the last. And listen, they're not the only show in town. Guess what?
They're not.
The Jeff Finnick and Tampa Bay Lightning, they endear themselves to the blue
Jeff
collar.
Finnick is a god. Yeah, he should be the next pope. What I'm saying is, this takes me back to 19. This takes me back to 19.
Area for what they done with the Tampa Bay Lightning and signing their own guys for going for Stanley Cups. How again? If you experience
and the Glazers, they're
you experience
here. It takes me back to 95.
Why are you going to settle? Doesn't matter about 95. The Glazers have won 2 Super Bowls.
No, but the Glazers got major crap for buying the Bucs in 1995. The Glazers bought the
$192 million, and guess what?
$195 million.
Okay, 195. They have been stand-up owners because they did everything.
Peter Angelos wanted the team. There were outside buyers that wanted this team.
Matter.
I went to Peter. Did you go to that last game?
It doesn't matter.
I had season tickets. I went to that last game in '94. The Packers. It was supposed to be the last game ever at the Big Sombrero.
The Bucs have done everything they can to put a winner on the field.
And good for them. But before they bought this team, they were giving grief for paying $195 million for this team. There were 4 other owners that wanted to move this team. The Bucs almost left. The Bucs almost left. The great Tampa Bay.
They didn't. What have you done for me lately?
They didn't, yeah. But the Rays haven't yet either. But I'm saying keep your eye on the prize.
What have you done for me lately?
Lately, they've won the American League East 3 of the last 10 years. They've actually finished the playoffs. Last year being their first year.
Has the owner shut up about a new stadium? Has the owner shut up about moving? Has the owner shut up, or has the owner ever not said, I can't sustain? Okay, so you do that over and over again. By the way,
then you sell to the Dreamers for $2 billion. You're out.
Wait. You're a history guy. Right? You're a history guy, right? So you got Vinnick, who's done everything for the Tampa Bay Lightning to make them a Stanley Cup winner, 2 multiple Stanley Cups, and sign their own players. You got the Glazers, who've done everything to make this a winning team with bringing Tom Brady to town. Anything you want, back-to-back years, even though you didn't win 2 Super Bowls, you won 1 Super Bowl. Yeah, 4 straight NFC South. And then on top of that, the Tampa Bay public, the Tampa Bay fan, has had to experience Hugh Culverhouse. Do you think they want to go through Hugh Culverhouse again? Because that's exactly what Stu Sternberg is the equivalent.
They won't have to if this team's in Orlando. They won't have to go through any of this.
They have already done it. It doesn't matter about Orlando, Timbuktu, Michigan, Nashville, Portland. If you got
then
this,
we won't look forward. We'll have tunnel vision and just hope for the best.
You never look forward.
I'm hoping for the best.
You have said over and over again, it's the Tampa Bay sports fans' problem. It's the reason. That's the reason why, because they don't show up.
It's not my problem. I'm saying Stu owns the team.
The reason why they don't show up is because he does own the team. They don't want to deal with it anymore. That's what it comes. They don't want Stu Culverhouse or Hugh Culverhouse. They don't want that because they're already used to Jeff Fennick. They're already used to the Glazers. They're already used to winning organizations that get it done. They don't want to support the Rays. They want to stay home. They're telling you. Even
then let him go to Orlando. Then you're right. Forget supporting him. Let him go
because he's not going to be.
Even though they're actually one of the best teams.
Yeah,
but even though they're one of the best teams in the AL East.
And it's just that this owner, guys, he's horrible. Ray,
but I'm saying in today, Harry, tomorrow,
hold on just for a second, Pete.
Tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Please make sure it's plugged in.
It is.
I got a guest calling in, and I really want to talk to him.
Well, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we'll see the Phillies at home, at our home versus the Rays. We'll see how many Phillies fans are there, how many Rays fans are there. And then you tell me why a billionaire would want to buy a team that can't even get 12,000 because they were supposed to move across to the Hillsborough side, and it was going to be forget about it. We were going to show how much we support this team, regardless of who owned them. Regardless of who owned them.
Ray,
so
would you agree?
Just trust us, next owner.
Look, can you agree, Ray, that Stu took this county? Especially
Stu's an asshole. Stu's an asshole. Let's put it that.
Can you admit it that he held the county, and not only the county, worse yet, just everything around that stadium complete hostage and played us for complete fools? Can you honestly just admit that?
I can agree because I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida because my Aunt Mary was the brightest star for Raymond James. My Aunt Mary brought us down here in '72. I understand how money is. I can agree Stu did that, but I can also agree from a money standpoint, Stu actually leveraged his team. Sorry, Pete.
Let me go out to the phone lines here as we get passionate about the Tampa Bay Rays. I believe we have a special guest on the line. What's your name? Where you're calling from? You're on the Evolution.
This is Roberto Hernandez.
There you go. Roberto Hernandez, a former
I give up.
Rays coach right now.
¿Cómo está, señor Roberto? Thank you for calling in.
No problem.
We're having a debate here, and look, man, you're one of the all-time greats. You know, a relief pitcher that baseball has ever seen. You played for the Tampa Bay Rays. You're the all-time saves leader for the people out there that are, not familiar with who Roberto Hernandez is. Saves leader for the Rays. He's a saves leader for the Chicago White Sox. 17 years in the majors, not in the Hall of Fame as of yet. But I'll tell you what, he's not afraid of his opinion. Roberto, where's this team going? Are the Dreamers going to go to? Are the Dreamers going to get him in Orlando? What do you think of Stu Sternberg? I mean, I just want to vomit all over the place, and everybody has their own opinion, and I want you to put this narrative to bed. What's happening?
I have no clue, man. The thing is that I don't think they're going to Orlando. I mean, I don't know if they up there. I mean, you got a lot of visitors. You got to deal with the mouse up there. Mickey don't want no organization up there. You got the Magic. The Magic haven't been as good since Shaq left.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point.
I mean,
right. He's absolutely right.
We have to find a common ground to where you can get still the people from Tampa and the people from here, to be able to get in and out of games.
Mm-hmm.
Where the Trop is at right now, it's kind of hard after games getting there and then leaving.
Mm.
I would think the best spot is like if you go towards Orlando, where the dump is. I mean, not Orlando, Tampa. Right before you get on the bridge, that dump area would be a perfect location to where people from St. Pete,
Town. Yeah, that was it original.
You can still get people in and out from Sarasota, quick shot. It's a little bit further north for them, but the traffic can be controlled. As much money they're spending on the Howard Franklin and all that, to build, roads and I would think that'd be the perfect spot.
Roberto, question real quick, and I'm going to let Peter take over on this, but I'm just going to ask you a direct question. Does Stu Sternberg still hold on to this team? And is this team really worth, like Tampa Bay Ray thinks, $2.2 billion? Seriously, I need your thoughts on this.
I don't know what the organization is worth.
Mm-hmm.
You can only go by what the last few teams have been sold for. What Stu is, what the Rays organization was hoping for, the same results as they did down in Miami, and where the owners of the Marlins didn't have to fork over some money.
Correct.
And a lot of the money basically all the money that did that mausoleum down in Miami was taxpayer.
That's a good point.
Mausoleum.
It's true.
The house that Ozzy built.
Taxpayers' money.
Right.
And we're in a tough situation right now. You got a fan base here that most of your fan base, are older people, are people that are struggling now just to get their homes fixed after the last two storms. The thing is that me as a baseball fan, you root for your team, and then you fall in love with a player, and the Rays, will have that player for 3 to 4 years and then ship them somewhere else.
Correct.
When they're due a contract, right?
Yeah, it's kind of hard, and sometimes they play Russian roulette where they win when they hit on prospects and they make deep runs. This team is good. Remember, they lost basically their starting rotation within 4 months last year.
Yep.
All of them with Tommy Johns, all of them with, and you hoping and praying that they come back as just as strong as they were the year before. But the fans, the loyal fans that are here deserve better.
Do you think that it comes down to, and we got Roberto Hernandez, former closer for the Rays, White Sox, various teams in Major League Baseball. I'm your host, Peter Blake, here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Do you think that comes down to ownership, where ownership has not done a good enough job? Because we debate on this show all the time. I debate with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, where I think over time, not only the comments, but the actions of this ownership and showing this fan base that basically we don't care. We're going to get rid of talent. We're going to spend less than any team in Major League Baseball. And by the way, Roberto, they're an analytically inclined team that's all about numbers, yet what they will not admit to is there's been one team in the last 25 years that has won a World Series. That is the 2003 Florida Marlins, with less than a 15th or less payroll. And yet the Rays continue every year to have one of the worst payrolls in all Major League Baseball. And I think that is caught up to them. I think that's why the fans have not only not shown up throughout the years because they decided to stay home when the team was in St. Pete, but now in Tampa.
It's a tough situation. Ownership has part of it. Also, well, before the topic of come up for new stadiums, also the city of St. Pete was also pushing back on them, and I think rightfully so. Where the Rays wanted St. Pete to flip them for most of the bill for that stadium. Rebuild or making a brand new stadium costs a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Right now, I don't even know what's the total cost just to fix the trop for the next year until they
I believe it's
find-
$55 million.
Yeah,
That number is only going to continue to go up
it's
more
going
and more and more because of the
go up.
way everything's going on.
Exactly. Everything is getting more and more expensive. For that, might as well just dig up that stadium, knock it down, and start building a new one.
Mm.
But
Now you're referring to the trop, correct?
Yes, the city. I mean, every team that has built a new stadium, except for San Francisco and the Marlins, have built on their property in the past.
Mm.
The Bronx, the Yankees built across the street.
Right.
Shea Stadium built in their parking lot.
Sure.
They knocked down the stadium and built in their parking lot. Atlanta Braves, the old Turner Field, built on their parking lot. Now the Braves got a brand new one.
Mm.
I mean, I think Turner Field was only like 20 years.
Right.
20 years old.
Exactly.
The Texas Rangers I played in two of the stadiums in Texas, where the old Arlington and then the new one, and now they got a new one with a dome.
Right.
I mean, and that the one prior to the dome was a fabulous ballpark. I mean, also, but it was damn freaking hot there, in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But every single organization, even the White Sox, they built in their parking lot.
Yeah, you remember that?
Street.
Well, that's the year you started. That was the year you got called up. You didn't play at Kaminsky. You played in the first year that park opened, right? Or was it the second year?
Yes. They opened, I came up in 91. So I think 90 was their last year, I think.
Right.
Of old Kaminsky. But you know what? It boils down to ownership in the city meeting halfway, or try to find an equilibrium. You don't have to build a 45,000 seat stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Something that is with luxury suites, something updated, something that it's more fan friendly, more for the kids. Those are the ones that are going to be the future Rays fans, all the kids. But it doesn't help when you have the city and the Rays bickering back and forth.
Right.
One of the things that didn't go well, and I guarantee you didn't go well with the players back when they was threatening to have half a season in Tampa and the other half a season in Montreal. That would never fly. That would have never flown.
That was a major red flag right there.
It was a major red flag. And again, Roberto Hernandez is on with us, former closer for the Rays, White Sox, various teams here. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, and of course, Louis from the Frozen Pirate podcast. We lost Ray there. We'll get him back, hopefully. But you're exactly right. During a playoff chase, and they have all this propaganda that they're going to do a half season with Montreal, and they think that doesn't make fans also mad and pissed off. And I don't understand how some people just don't understand the reason why a lot of Rays fans are not showing up anymore is because of this ownership. Do you eventually think that Major League Baseball, because their inner workings, you have some connects, do you think Major League Baseball will force him to sell and get an owner in here that will be a lot like Jeff Vinnick of the Tampa Bay Lightning and a lot like the Glazers of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
It's been done in the past. It's been done in the past in pro ball and baseball. I remember when they took suspended Marge Schott from Cincinnati, and in basketball they did it with the Clippers owners.
Yes, Donald Sterling. Yes.
So I mean, it's happened before. If it continues to go down the road with the Rays like this, or the Marlins, that's another situation down there where they're going to probably have to force them, to to find an owner that is willing to invest and put product on the field and keep the product
Right.
in your organization, in your cities.
Well, that was a total screw job in the first place. That's the reason why a lot of cities now are kind of aware, because they saw what happened down there in Miami, how the taxpayers bent over and took it. And then the Marlins, after they got their new stadium, got rid of Stanton, got rid of all their high-priced guys and said, oh, we're going to tear it up. We tricked you. But at least you can say with the Marlins, they won 2 World Series championships. The Rays have not done that, and they're not close to doing that. In your opinion, on the field here with this team, what holds them back this year? Or do you think this team, in your opinion, can compete with their pitching and especially with their bullpen?
Their pitching, that's one thing that the Rays always have is, they find diamonds in the rough and they get guys back healthy. That's where they can hang their hat on. Offensively, you gotta go through the East.
Right.
Boston, New York, Baltimore, Toronto. I mean, you got to score.
Sure.
You got to score in this game, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. They got to be solid. They got to be solid defense, but you can't win a lot of games 2-1 or 1-0.
Yeah.
Roberto, I got a question for you, since we're on this topic with the Tampa Bay Rays here on the Sports Web. As a player, if you're playing for the Tampa Bay Rays right now, as a player, with everything going on, all the outside noise, not having a stadium, playing where you're playing right now, what's the morale of the locker room, and how would the morale be with you, like knowing everything that's kind of going on right now? Do you think that plays a little bit into the team right now?
I'd rather have the morale or be on the Rays team than be in the Oakland situation.
Oh
Right.
yeah, absolutely. That's a disaster.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just mentioned one team that was probably worse than the Rays, but go ahead.
Yes. No, but see, the Oakland has been before even the Rays were in existence. That situation in Oakland has been going on longer.
Right.
I mean, I remember going there in the early 90s, and in the mid 90s. And you're at a baseball stadium that its capacity is for football. And there's maybe 10,000 people sitting in the stands, maybe, and it looks like 10.
Wow.
And
how do you survive? The A's are lucky that they were getting the shares from like people that were paying, teams that were over the luxury tax.
Correct.
That's how they survive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And the one thing that they did right back then was when they called it Moneyball. They hit on 3 good starters and a couple of stud infielders and maybe an outfielder, and then they plugged in guys. But you have to have teams to buy in, players to buy in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Do you feel
like
the Rays are on the verge of something like the Oakland A's? Do you feel like there is a little bit of similarities there?
I hope not, because at least the Rays have gone to 2 World Series. One, granted, was one of the shortened season with the 2021.
Correct.
But they went in 2008.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the stands, in for that 2008, and the electricity, the vibe, the fan base.
That was a lot of fun.
Exactly.
Yes.
If you put a constant winner out there, just like in the movie, if you build it, they will come.
Mm.
But you have to keep them.
Yeah,
Yes.
but how long after that year did they start letting them go, Roberto?
It's 1 year, right? I mean, Scott Kazmir is a perfect example. 2009, they go after Pat Burrell. It doesn't work out. They're only 3 games out of the wild card, and I remember this like it was yesterday. They trade Scott Kazmir, one of their main starters, and fans look at this and they're like, What are we doing? And this is just, it's over and over again, whether it's David Price, whether it's Ben Zobrist. By the way, hate to dig the scab, guys, but Ben Zobrist went to the Royals, who, by the way, made trades at the deadline to go over $100 million. Consequently, they made the World Series and won the World Series with Wade Davis and Ben Zobrist. Oh, by the way, not to dig in even more, Joe Madden was let go, much like Doug Williams was let go by the Bucs. Joe Madden was let go, won a lot of games for the Rays for, pennies on a dollar, goes to the Cubs, wins the World Series with who? Wade Davis, Ben Zobrist.
Listen, Pete, seriously, honestly, man, and Roberto will probably agree with me. Every team gets rid of very good players, but this team has a propensity of doing it a lot more than other teams. And it only goes to show you one thing. I really like Jerry Reinsdorf from the Chicago White Sox, but the man even has a fault. He's very loyal to his players probably to a fault. Wouldn't you agree, Roberto? Okay.
To the end.
Yeah, but the difference between a Jerry Reinsdorf and a Stu Sternberg, I'm going to give you one example, and you're going to be like, oh, wow, man, I remember you talking about that, Harry. Roberto, you remember when I told you when Brett Phillips was playing for this team, and they were going to DFA him, but they didn't DFA him for 3 weeks because they had purchased $50,000 worth of bobbleheads. You remember that conversation?
Yes.
It was the day after the bobbleheads they DFA'd the guy. Now, he wasn't, I'm going to say, a great hitter. The guy could barely hit over the Mendoza line, but he definitely was a good bench player. I understand why they got rid of him, but when you're that cheap of an owner to do something like that because you spent $50,000, that's the epitome of someone that trips over pennies to try to pick up dollars. That's not what a good owner does. You just don't do that. Roberto, I'd love your take on that. I mean, you played for this organization.
I was with the other owner.
Oh, I know that.
Namoli.
Who was cheaper.
Oh, stop it. Really?
Well, at least they went for the hit show, but that didn't necessarily work out there with the greatness of
we had so much laugh in the clubhouse.
Hit
on
show.
The hit show.
And this segment is brought to you by Stories by Roberto Hernandez. Roberto, you have got to give us a good story.
Hit show, not the hit show.
The shit show or the hit show? Which one was it?
Well, listen.
The shit show.
You had Greg Vaughn. You had Jose Canseco at the time. Vinny Castilla. But people called him Vinny Cash Stealer here. There was one radio host by the name of Steve Dumig who used to call him that. And who was the other guy? That was
Fred McGriff.
Fred McGriff, the crime dog, now a Hall of Famer. Yes. Talk to Fred on the show.
Yeah. It was tough times back then, but the difference between that and that era and with the new one, there was talent with the Rays, not with the D Rays. We had younger talent. If somebody got hurt, we can they can replenish.
Right.
They can always, the Rays, the Rays now with their organization, somebody gets hurt, there's always somebody waiting in the wings. If somebody got hurt when we were the Devil Rays, we were hoping and praying that whoever came up was able to freaking at least participate or do something decent. We prayed because a lot of the kids that came up weren't ready. We're not ready. Now they are. And then if it's just, it was a different era, a different mentality. We had just started, and we had bodies, but we didn't have players.
Right.
That's true.
In the system.
Last question, Roberto, and we'd love to have you back here another time on the Sports Web to talk about this Rays team on the field. But do you think, just going off of Louis' question, that there is some type of distraction here with the players because of all the stadium talk, because of now playing at Steinbrenner Field, being a player in Major League Baseball? Do you think there is some distraction there?
There could be some.
Okay.
There could be some. I mean, what happened this past summer with the storm and destroying the stadium, nobody can predict that. as players, at least they're in Tampa. They could have either wind up going to play their games in Port Charlotte, or they could have been like, during the pandemic, the Blue Jays, they had to play most of their games in Dunedin.
Yeah.
They couldn't go into Canada. Or then part of their season, they had to go play in Buffalo.
Right.
They had 3 locations at home field. At least, they're here in Tampa. Is it a pain in the ass for people from St. Pete to cross over the bridge? Yes. Now the people from St. Pete feel like the fan base that we have in Tampa, that they have to cross over here and all that. But you know what? At least they're here. At least they're playing here.
Roberto, I got a good question for you. I want to leave it on a good note for you. Okay, bud? You ready? Closers in general have a little bit of a quirkiness about them. Now, again, I'm not saying that you are quirky, okay? You were a very dominating pitcher, especially as being a reliever. But if you think of the Jonathan Papelbons and the Raleigh Fingers and some of the idiosyncrasies that they have.
Trevor Hoffman.
I mean, you understanding the stereotypes. Were you anything like that at all? I mean, anything? And if so, what was it?
I wasn't like them. I would quietly pump myself up, because you have to walk the walk if you talk it. And then sometimes, there are days where you leave the bullpen and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have shit. So you really have to pump yourself up, and fake it till you make it, and then.
Well, I knew you talk a lot of poo-poo especially going to your favorite team playing the Yankees. I know that you love the Yankees.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, but you know what? I mean, I didn't
if
have.
If Roberto could have taken a dump on the mound at New York Yankee Stadium, he would have did it.
I didn't have any quirkiness. I didn't do any of that.
I told you, Pete.
It was just tough enough. Trying to But the one thing that a lot of kids, that I try to convey to kids, if they're even in high school and college, I can believe in you. Your coaches can believe in you, but if you don't believe in yourself, we have problems. You have to, no matter what level you're playing, you have to act like you're the best player out there. Even if you have to fake it.
But you were, though.
No,
at that time
yes.
Roberto, man, come on, seriously. When you walked out on the mound, people feared you on top of that.
That's what I'm saying. He was an intimidating factor. When he came out there, he had that closer mentality, that closer look that, I'm going to.
Yes, but there were days where I didn't, you don't feel like you can compete at that level. The only position from starting pitcher to reliever that feels like you're an everyday player is that closer role. So you had to prepare yourself mentally every game up until that 7th or 8th or 9th inning. If it wasn't a safe situation and if you're blowing out or getting blown out, that's when you let your guard down. But every game that was a nail biter, oh my God, man, you're bouncing off the damn wall.
I know Roberto's favorite player to pitch against was Cabrera. You just loved him.
Oh hell, man! And I would throw a rosin in the bag and he'll hit it out.
I know.
Roberto, I really appreciate the time as always. Always welcome here on the Evolution. We want to get you on to talk baseball. We love it.
Roberto, when you coming to pick me up, we got to go get some lunch.
Just name it, brother.
I want to come along. I'm going to come along and buy.
And Roberto, a lot of people don't know what you're doing, and I hope you don't mind me asking this question and just say you don't want to answer it. But for the people that are out there, what are you doing right now? Tell us where they can find you, what you're doing, because you know what? It could really help attendance and support the school.
Well, I'm coaching. Our season's over, but I'm an assistant coach at the Catholic St. Petersburg Catholic High School. So I now dedicate myself to trying to pass on some of my knowledge and help the younger kids. And hopefully some of the kids that are good enough they can go to college, and continue to play baseball, man. So that's what I'm doing lately.
All right.
Fantastic.
Good stuff. Roberto Hernandez, former closer of the Rays, Braves, and of course the White Sox, various teams. We appreciate the time here on the Evolution, my friend. Don't be
pleasure. My pleasure.
Yes, the White
Thank
Sox.
you.
The Chicago White Sox.
Yes, the Chicago White Sox.
That's right. That's the team that gave him his break, and he'll never forget it.
Listen, I told you that it was a fluid broadcast, that you never know who was going to come on.
That's
we'll
true.
go out.
Roberto, thanks for coming on, brother.
We'll get out to this guy right here.
Book him, Dano.
Mr. Leo Haggerty, former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. Leo Haggerty, welcome, my friend. How you doing tonight?
Well, I'm watching the Knicks beat the Celtics in overtime.
Wow. Listen to that, guys. New York Knicks right there.
108-105. And the Knicks stole the pass on the inbounds play. I don't think the Celtics are going to get it.
Is that for the series? Because I haven't watched
No.
one game in the NBA.
It's game one.
Neither have I.
Knicks versus the Celtics, and I've watched a little bit, but the Celtics. All right,
Leo, how are you, buddy?
Before we go, can I get on a rant real quick?
Oh,
Absolutely.
a Leo rant?
Oh yeah, you can. Yes.
On my last nerve about everybody saying
Stand by,
how
Alex.
they need to change the Byron Nelson's course and make it tougher. Wait a second. We just had a guy shoot 31 under. And it wasn't because he was playing on a putt-putt. He was hitting every drive down the middle. He was hitting every iron on the green. The guy had the greatest 4 days in the history of the PGA. And now everybody's saying, oh, we got to make it tougher. What are they thinking? This is not an easy game.
No,
He is just playing out his mind. There's guys that were 22, 23 under, and they weren't even in the discussion. And now they're saying, oh, they got to make – this reminds me of back and Harry and Peter and Louis, when they wanted to make courses tiger-proof. Well, guess what? Play. That's
The
enough.
Knicks just beat the Celtics.
Well, and by the way, Leo, that shot looks good there. I want to go out and look, the camera shot, man. Look at that; it's improved. Tremendous.
It's a little better. Yeah.
Look at that.
Leo,
It's a
you
lot
shaved?
better.
Nose hair is all?
Well, Leo, you got to bend down a little bit and show your forehead because we gotta get that shot back. Where's that at?
Until you start to look good.
There you go, Leo Haggerty, the legend.
Leo's in the house.
Leo is in the house there with your radio voice there. Let me go out to the phone lines here. Alex from Yorkville. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend.
Is this the
Alex, go ahead.
Hello, guys. How we doing?
I'm doing great, buddy. How you doing?
Good. We have a good crowd in here. We got Terry the Great.
Yes.
He's the pain. No, I'm just kidding. He's the White Sox fan.
Just leave Harry alone here, okay?
Just to let everybody know I hate all Tampa sports teams. Just get it out of the way.
He's the best, bro.
Yeah, we listen. Harry just delivered us Roberto Hernandez, former Rays, White Sox, and Braves closer, various teams there. So
And
we don't
Giants and Mets.
and Giants and the Mets. Yes.
Guys, I wanted to give you my thought. I wanted to piggyback a lot of what Roberto said, and I want to give you my personal knowledge of two things. What's the Rays problem? And then I'll tell you my personal thought, my own thought of what's going to happen with the Rays in the stadium. Why? I want to say what is holding the Rays back. Now, keep this number in your guys' mind. 1 to 10. Just keep that in your mind.
Okay.
I don't care if your payroll is $1 million or 10 million. I don't care about the payroll. The Rays have a good enough roster to win this division.
Do they?
You're dreaming.
Or do we Curtis?
Let me finish.
You're dreaming.
All
They
right,
can't hit the baseball.
Go ahead.
No,
Let
me finish. Let me
go ahead.
finish.
Okay, I know where he's going with this, but go ahead.
Let me finish.
Yep.
Because let me ask you a question. I want to make sure I put this in the right direction because I want to make all this make sense. How many teams Kevin Cash last year broke an MLB record for the most lineup changes in all of baseball.
Okay.
Why are the Rays so bad? Why are the Rays losing 1-0 games?
Can I go ahead? Can I go ahead and respond to this? I'm going to go ahead and respond to this. I'm going full screen.
It's one word, Peter. It's one word.
I'm going full screen on this. It is what you have. It's almost like the Todd Bowles situation, right? It's like, why does he have all these zone reads with all these players? Why is he playing zone? Because you don't have the horses to play what you want to play. It's the same thing with the Rays. You do not have the horses. You're not spending enough money. You have guys like Curtis Mead and the greatness of Taylor Walls, players like that. That's the reason why.
Peter, I disagree. I'm going to tell you
Of
what.
course you do. Let the man finish his point and then come back and say something. Give the man a chance to finish.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I'm done with it because I know where he's going to go with Kevin Cash, and I get what you're saying.
I mean, can't anybody just agree just one time that this team just is not as talented as they should be? Can't someone just agree that Stu Sternberg is not putting a proper product out onto the field when it comes to hitting? Can't anybody just agree that pitching isn't going to just win baseball games? That's it.
If you have a guy like Jonathan Aranda, who's red hot.
I'm getting a headache.
He went 5 for 5 yesterday.
Right.
Four base hits and 1 walk.
Right.
If you have a guy that went 5 for 5 yesterday, and the very next day, the next 2 games, he sits on the bench for someone else who has been absolutely inconsistent, how is that on the players? That is because you want to flip the lineup, and where I was going with this was this. The Rays organization, the Rays have a hella roster. I'm being real. As a fan,
they do. They do. What they do? Hold on. They're catching. Hold on. Jansen is
too much analytics.
That's what. Listen, no, and that's fine. Alex is he's entitled to his opinion.
I understand that, and I appreciate that. But when you're talking, bring some facts with it.
Well,
the reason why they're changing that roster is because they're not that good. They have to keep teams off balance.
It's not facts because they have guys that are hitting in the 200s, and yes, they continue to put them out there, but this is not just Kevin Cash making this decision, Alex. You know this all too well. This is the ownership. This is the higher ups making these decisions when it comes to analytics. But furthermore,
I'm not blaming Cash.
Okay.
I want to get that out there right now. I am not blaming Kevin Cash.
Okay.
I'm saying is that the Rays have turned their organization off analytics way too much, hence the 2020 World Series. Let's be real.
I agree.
Let's pull Blake Snell 80 pitches on the dot.
I agree.
Let him go anything over.
I agree. And that wasn't a Kevin Cash decision. Yes.
My point is, if you look at a New York Yankee, I cannot believe I'm about to use the Yankees.
What, they have the greatest baseball player in the game right now? Aaron Judge is hitting better than 5 Ray players.
Yeah.
Just one player.
If I'm looking at the Rays, Aaron Judge went 0 for 3. Oh wait, what was it? 0 for 3 yesterday, and
still batting .433.
Aaron Judge had a bad game. Is Aaron Judge going to be pulled out that next game? Guarantee you not.
No, but
when you're batting .433.
But the problem is you don't have an Aaron Judge on this team. And what's the difference between the Yankees and the Rays?
Yeah, but the problem is nobody really scares me up the bat with the Rays. Right. Nobody really scares me.
You don't need that. You have Jonathan Aranda who's batting 4 for 4 with 4 RBIs.
Can I ask Alex a question?
Yeah, go for it, Leo. Go for it.
Alex, name me any Ray player that's a top 5 in baseball right now.
Any of them.
You don't need that to win.
Whoa.
Sure you do.
Stop yourself right there. You're asking a team to win when they don't have a top 5 player anywhere in their roster. In 2025 baseball, that is fatal.
Yes.
It's not there. It's not there. Because, and I agree with your point, it's all about analytics. The problem is the Rays don't even make the analytics anymore because they are not getting the hitting, not getting the pitching, and they're hoping to hang around till McClanahan can get back because this team is built on pitching and defense.
Agreed.
You know what? This team is built on analytics and algorithms. The analytics and the algorithms are simple. How much money can I make and when will it come in? That's the only analytics and algorithms that they use.
Hey guys, I want to piggyback off what he just said, though. I want to piggyback off what he just said. I want to answer his question.
Yes, answer it.
Do the Rays have a known? I'm gonna compare the Rays to one more team, and then I'll go on my stadium ordeal, and then I'll get out of here. Let me compare you to a team who, will I remind you, silently won 101 wins 2 seasons ago and almost won 100 wins last year with no top 5 player, which Theo just said, and that was the Baltimore Orioles, who literally won 101.
Sure they did. What are you talking about? They had the saves leader. They had 2 players in the top 5, batting 3rd and 4th, and not only homers and ribbies. What are you talking about?
Gunnar Henderson. He was a rookie. That was their top guy.
He's one of the top prospects, though.
He's a catcher. What are you kidding me? The catcher, the phenom.
The point. Who's the catcher, Mr. White Sox?
Okay.
Who's the catcher?
Who's the catcher?
Alex, the sky is blue. You're going to say it's purple. It's okay. We can agree to disagree. But do me a favor. Please stop. When you can start correcting people that have been on this planet twice your age, who've watched the game twice as much as you should take a little reverency and open up your ears, because that's what God gave you 2 of those for. Just listen sometimes. Okay, you can hate me, you can dislike me. I am not a Tampa Bay Ray hater. I am a facts producer. If you're going to win in this game, you have to spend money and put a real product out on that field. Because if you think Josh Lowe out there is going to be, if you whatever the hell his name is, Lowe is going to turn around, hit 30 home runs again. Listen, it's the world's coming to an end if that happens. This team needs to buy some players and absolutely keep some of the players that they had.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, Harry. I agree that maybe the Rays need some roster reamps, but
roster reamps? Alex. They have Curtis Mead, who's terrible. They have Taylor Walls, who's not great. He had 4 hits yesterday, but the majority of the time it's terrible. Your catching position is terrible. Brandon Lau, he's got all the potential in the world, but he's still hitting 200. They got way too many hitters in this lineup that are hitting 200. That's the reason why they're struggling. And this is my point. When you decide to go with unproven or prospects that can't stay healthy, like a Josh Lowe, when you decide to not get a veteran presence that can hit the ball out of the ballpark or drive runs in or get people over, that's the reason why you struggle. That's the reason why you're only scoring 1 to 2 runs a game. That's what it comes down to.
Here's a reality check for everybody in the panel. Hold on. Do you know the difference between the Chicago White Sox, that putrid team that's sitting out there, and the Tampa Bay Rays? You want to know what it is?
What is it?
It's pitching. Because I'm going to tell you right now, they both hit the same. They don't. No. That's the only difference. If Tampa had at least 2 more sticks in that lineup, just 2, this team right now would be battling for first place.
Agreed.
Well, and a great comment here by the Green Queen herself, the Greek showing up with logic. He is showing up with logic. Mike DeRoche, the Orioles catcher is Adley Rushman, not Gunnar Henderson, who is a shortstop. And Rushman, by the way, was an all-star. So Baltimore's right, but they still getting top players, my friend. They're top players.
Yeah, but they pulled the race thing. They got rid of their good players, and where are they at? The cellar.
The cellar. There you go.
I will add this too, though. What I don't understand about the Rays is you sign a guy like Eloy Jimenez. Where's he at?
He's in the minors.
Why is he in the minors sitting there?
Because you know why? You want me to tell you why? And I know this for a fact because it's already been told to me, and I announced it on the show. Because he has the same problem that he had at the White Sox. He's one of the premier hitters in all of baseball when he's healthy. Okay? He could bat 260 to 280 and give you 30 homers and 100 ribbies. You know what his problem is, Alex? Himself, because he thinks he's a position player. Have you ever seen a routine fly ball and an outfielder catches it and starts to celebrate it because he made the catch? Watch it sometime. I'm not kidding you. When they bring him up is when he decides to eat enough crow that he's just going to be a DH. But he doesn't want to be. He still wants to play the position. That's what the Rays are missing. You bring him up, you throw him in the 3 slot, and hold on, you're not batting around him.
Yeah, you're not batting around him at all, and then that's what it comes down to.
Team, I want to talk about the stadium deal, and I'm going to get out of here. But by the way, I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate Harry, you know I love you, bro. I'm just giving you a hard time. I always will, buddy.
But you can't give me a hard time.
But talking about the stadium thing, I want to put my own opinion on it.
Okay.
Peter knows I'm a diehard Rays fan, so I've been on this.
They're not going to Orlando either, because I'll take that stupid bet you wanted to put out there.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you what, I'll give you 2-1 on your money.
I'm going to say this. And then I'll leave it at that. It has been proven by the St. Pete deal, I'll just go by that no matter what, Tampa Bay is strike 3 out with Stu Sternberg in Tampa Bay. Do I think he has to sell to survive in Tampa Bay? Yes. Ray is on drugs tonight. I'm sorry, Ray. I love you, bro. I know you're listening. The Rays are not worth over $2 billion. You don't have a stadium. You have a subpar 200 lineup. The Rays are not worth over $2 billion. The Rays, in my opinion, are at most worth $1.5 billion. And that's at the most. With the current situation, no stadium, playing at Steinbrenner in a minor league ballpark with everything going on, $1.5 billion, and even that's pushing it. What do I think is going to happen? There's a lot of reports about, and I placed a bet. I placed a bet, and I'm going to say on the show, I'm going to say why I think it's going to happen, regardless of the fact that y'all are going to laugh. But I placed a bet with Peter, and I put $1,000 on the line, and I don't care. I'll pay him. I'll pay him if it happens. I am going to tell you why I think Orlando is going to happen. Let me finish before I get chewed out.
No one's going to chew you out.
Because I don't think Stu Sternberg is going to sell. Here's what I think is going to happen. The Orlando Dreamers are dreaming hard about putting they have over $2.5 billion plus public funding from Orange County and approved property for a minor league ballpark. I mean, not a minor league ballpark, a major league ballpark with everything to go with it. And I think Stu will not sell a full percentage of the team. I think he will sell 51%. Let me finish. I think he's going to sell 49%, gaining that 1% control of the team. He's going to sell to the Orlando for X amount of dollars. That will put Stu at putting up probably about, if you're putting at a $1.5 billion ballpark, you're selling them for half the cost. Well, you're selling 49% of the stake. So you're probably selling them at $1 billion, as you use that example. I think Stu's going to sell to the Dreamers for 51%. And the Stu and the Dreamers will basically go half and half on approved public land. It is a sweet deal for Major League Baseball. Do I want this to happen? Absolutely not. But I think in the realistic terms, because Tampa Bay and Hillsborough County, I'm not even going to talk about Pinellas County right now. I'm going to put Pinellas County out the door because I think that door has been shut. I think the Pinellas County, I think the city is completely never working with the Rays again. I think that was strike 3 on the last St. Pete deal. I think that's a no-go. I don't think Hillsborough County is going to work because Hillsborough County has had 10 plus 15 years to work this out, and it has never worked. From the Ebor, which by the way, Ebor shut that down last week by saying, there has been by county commissioner that Ebor is planning on moving on and forward plans on the redevelopment of their district, and that is going to include no ballpark. So I just don't think Tampa and Hillsborough County have a solution. So what option does that leave? That leaves Orlando and the Dreamers who are dreaming about a perfect deal that's laid out. It's literally laid out, and everything is in order, from the funding, from Orange County approving their funding,
Okay.
from the land in order, from the Dreamers offering what they want. And I really do believe, do I think Stu Sturmer is going to sell full-fledged 100%? Of course he's not.
All right.
Because even with that deal, even with that Orlando deal, if he was to do that, he would still go home to the bank, in my opinion.
I'm taking your $1,000. I'm telling you right now, they're not selling to Orlando. I appreciate you, Alex.
Thanks,
As
guys.
always, use that second call if you want to. Yeah, that's what he thinks. So we'll see. I'm sorry, guys. I know everybody wants to talk about the Rays tonight, or nobody wants to talk about the Rays. We all want to talk about the Bucs, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes that happens. I don't know what.
It's kind of tough to talk about the Bucs right now because there's not a whole lot happening till after the rookie mini camp.
Right. Well,
I was curious about the numbers there.
Let's get back into that. Of course, Abdul Carter for the New York Giants wanted to have number 56. Got rejected by that.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, he wanted 56.
What number?
Wanted
56.
Lawrence Taylor's number. Then he got rejected for Phil Simms' number. And
no, really, he wanted Lawrence Taylor's number.
He wanted 56. That's like
Leo.
To me that's so absurd. Like to go
Leo,
in
really.
the.
I think you should fill that full of bourbon or the cheapest whiskey and hand it to him and tell him to drink it and say it out loud again.
Right.
But just to get denied 2 times, it's just.
Guys, I can't believe somebody didn't pull him aside, like his agent, and say, "You don't even want to do this.
Right.
This is not. You're a rookie, sport. You've got nothing. This is whole different than Tom Brady coming to Tampa and Chris Godwin giving him number 12.
Yeah.
That's a whole different animal.
Right.
You want to wear my number, and I like what Phil Simms said. Earn it. Make your own.
Yes.
Could you ever see? Could you ever? Because this was the question of the night for Bucs fans. Would you like to see a rookie wear one of the great numbers of all time at 55 and Derek Brooks, 47 and John Lynch, 99 and Warren Sapp, or would you like them to create their own legacy?
Can't
Louis,
do that.
you want to talk about it, and Leo, you want to talk about it. Go ahead.
You can't do that. It's just, in my opinion, and I'll take the blame for this. This is my generation doing this stupid crap. This isn't the Dallas Cowboys where somebody's just going to give you the number 88 and it's okay. It's not okay.
No,
you
it's
want to
not.
carve
Seriously,
out your
dude.
own path. Like if I don't care how high profile of a quarterback or a running back or whoever the hell you are, whatever position you're playing, you're coming to Tampa Bay. Let's just say Tampa blows it this year and they have the first overall pick and there's this kid coming out. He's a nose tackle like Warren Sapp, and the next coming of Jesus Christ. You're not wearing number 99.
Well, you can't.
You can't. You have to carve out your own path. And that's my advice to Abdul Carter. You want to be great. You want to be, in the words of Shador, legendary. Go use a different number. Just carve out your own path, man.
Talking about Shador Sanders, there's actual reports that are saying that he's going to have an opportunity to be the second or third string quarterback. How about that?
Well, I mean, he's got how many quarterbacks do they have there? It's like John Gruden's team all over again. You got 5 or 6 quarterbacks. Usually, if you have that many quarterbacks, you don't have one.
Leo, did it surprise you that he dropped that far? Honestly,
week 9 he starts.
Go ahead, Leo.
Guarantee you, week 9 he'll start.
All right. Did it surprise you that Shador Sanders dropped all the way down in the draft?
No, and it surprised me that he dropped out of the second round because the kid can play.
Right.
You don't complete 70% of your pass and not being good in college football in the Power 4. The guy has a way to do it. Can he throw the long ball? Does he have arm strength? Probably not. But he's probably the most precise short passer that came out because he realized quickly, catch ball, throw ball. He got it out in a hurry. And the problem they had, and Peter and I talked about this, Louis and I talked about this, is that you don't want your backup quarterback to be the conversation in your locker room. And that's what happened. Whoever took him he's going to be the backup to start. And after every loss, the media would have sat there and started with the same question: is Sador going to start this week?
Right.
Teams don't want that. They don't want that.
Yeah, it's a big circus.
I actually asked Roy Cummings and Ira Kaufman, I said, if he drops to the 3rd and 4th round, you've got Baker Mayfield, but you've got Trask, who is about as unproven as you can get. Take a flyer on him. And they said the same thing I did. And they can't afford to have him be the conversation in the locker room.
Yeah, that would be the conversation. The other comments here, this is from NFL.com columnist Judy Batista, believes the Bucs still need to add a pass rusher. She says the Bucs are at least heralded among the consistent teams in the NFL. They won.
Have free agents coming up soon.
Well, listen, they won the NFC South 4 years in a row, including twice with Baker Mayfield after winning the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. The offense will have yet another offensive coordinator following the departure of Liam Cohen, but the concern for the Bucs last year was defense. They were 29th against the pass, had just 7 interceptions, causing Todd Bowles to demand ball hawks. That's what they got in Benjamin Morrison in round 2 and 53, and Jacob Parrish in round 3 and 84. Proved to be in the NFL. The Bucs are in position to stay atop, improving in the division as long as Mayfield and the offense keep rolling. In your opinion, Leo, and we'll go around here, do they still need to add a pass rusher, or do you think they can go with, David Walker and, of course, Elijah Roberts and, Chris Bradwell, Yaya Diaby? They're going to go with these guys, or could they add another free agent, in your opinion?
Everybody's missing the point here, guys. Go back to the team that won the Super Bowl.
Yep, I'll say this.
With 2 defensive tackles, Carter and Davis. Because Ron Jaworski has been on this show and he's preached to us, you want to get a quarterback scared, put color in his face. And that's exactly what the Eagles did. They made Patrick Mahomes look pedestrian. The kid from Florida, get ready. You put him and Vita Vea in the A-gap, I want to see somebody not have to double team both of them.
Now, hey, and this is what I'm going to say. Do you guys remember the early 2000s Chicago Bears with Ted Washington and who was it? Ted Washington and
Hank Williams? No.
Tommy Harrison?
No, Tommy Harris came after. It was
Tommy Harris.
Come on, Jamie, help me out. Ted Washington and
Keith Traylor.
Keith Traylor. Did you know that was almost 800 pounds of beef in the middle? And you know what? Nobody ran up the middle on that team. And I mean, it was scary. Even when they went into a hurry up, they just sat there. But by the way, 467 pounds, the Buccaneers are not going to let this kid play until he gets it to he's going to have to get under the 400-pound mark.
I agree.
All he's got to play is 15 plays. Think about it now.
Yeah.
Kid comes in on 3rd down. Try and stop this guy as he's coming right up the middle. Because what it does is it forces 2 double teams. 4 offensive players are blocking 2. You're going to have man on those edge rushers all day long.
And you can really send a blitz.
It stops
too.
the quarterback from stepping up into the pocket, which is what makes them really good quarterbacks to throw the football. If you don't have that pocket to step up in, and that pass rush is coming from behind you, good luck. You're starting to think more than you are to play.
I want to read this.
You're looking at the rush, and that's
well, you know who called that, by the way, don't you, Leo?
Huh?
You know who called that, by the way, Leo, from the defensive lineman from the Florida Gators, right? The gentleman sitting right below you.
Yep. There you go, Louis from the Frozen Pirate podcast. Yes,
he sure did. And I want to give that man the props because we were already talking about the Ted Washington, Keith Traylor thing. I mean, that was pretty wild.
Yeah.
I like I said, when I seen him, I said this is the perfect fit for the Tampa Bay Bucs. I wouldn't want to see them waste a pick on him, and they didn't. And now, if you slim this kid down, I don't want to see him playing at like 370. I think that'd be
370 would be perfect.
I'd like to see him right now 400, just that 400 mark, because this is what he's known for. And I think everybody's missing the point when everybody keeps saying, "Hey, maybe they should add an extra pass rusher." No way. The guys that we need are here. Hassan Reddick's here. Yaya Diaby's here. You address the defensive line by getting Watson in here. That's a lot of manpower up front, And I think what a lot of people are missing is Todd Bowles is emulating what the Philadelphia Eagles do, just in the 3-4 scheme. He has Braswell, he has Anthony Nelson,
Good point.
and Hassan Reddick and Diaby. He's going to be rotating these guys to keep them fresh. So we have a fresh set of pass rushers to constantly be in the quarterback space. Not only that, you have to deal with Greg Gaines, you have to deal with Vita Vea, and you have to deal with Watson. That's a lot of manpower up front. The only issue I have, and I'll go ahead and say this, gentlemen, the only issue I have right now with this defense is the inside linebacker position. That's the only issue I have, because I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, Levante David is going to play like he was 28 years old. No, I think he's going to regress a little bit this year. He's still playing with a high motor, but I would love to see them really address, if there's somebody out there, I'd like to see them bring in somebody.
Louis, Peter, Leo, switch gears around. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Let's just take these two players. You mentioned Vita Vea. What's that kid's name from Florida, please?
Desmond Watson.
Desmond Watson. Okay, just think about this. Midfield, it's 4th down and 3.
Oh, I'm putting him in line. Running back.
Oh, hold on. You make Watson the fullback, and you throw Vita Vea like the refrigerator sitting behind him. How are you stopping them? You know what? You got the tush push because it's 4th down in inches or 4th down in a yard. You got 4th and 5, and you need to get a first down. You're not stopping them.
No. It's a lot of manpower coming at you. That's a wrecking ball.
All right.
You're not. It's a wrecking ball. It's an absolute wrecking ball.
About this one. If somebody's running the tush push, you're going to put Watson and just tell him to fall on the quarterback. That's great. We'll give you a first down now, but your quarterback's going to look like a pancake.
It's true. All right. Let me go out to these comments here, Eric, and we'll read the rest, but I just want to read these. What if Emeka Ibuka wanted to wear 83 in honor of Joe Jurevicius and VJax? Where's the line drawn? I understand 55, 99, 20, 12, 63, and 47 being off limits, but just a thought, seeing where we draw the line. Fun thought experiment. What about it?
Question quick. What numbers have the Bucs retired? If it's not a number, I think it's their game, because you're honoring that guy. If that's retired, that's hands off. But if somebody comes in as a safety and wants to wear 47 because he said, I want to be the next John Lynch, is there a problem there I'm missing?
I think it should be either up to the organization or John Lynch, and I don't know if his numbers are. I don't think his numbers retired, but it should be.
If you gave him the blessing, I'm okay with that. But the problem, like I said, that 99 and 55, that's, to me, that's like what I'm not going to say the equivalent of Michael Jordan 23 in Chicago, but damn near close to it, just because those two guys anchored a change in Tampa with that defense.
Good point.
With 83, I'm okay with that. In my opinion, I'm okay with the 83. I love Vincent Jackson and what he did for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially Joe Jurevicius. I think you can take that number. I think there's always a combination of numbers that a team has where, like, again, a number like 83 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Joe Jurevicius had some special moments with number 83. Vincent Jackson. And now if Emeka Ibuka wants to kind of take that number and create some special moments, that's what I feel like that number is known for. I mean, I'm very big onto these jersey numbers and the discussions about this stuff. I really love getting into this stuff.
All right. I know, Harry, you've got to get out of here. We're on with Leo. We'll probably call him the left-hander for him, too. All right. So we're calling the left-hander. We're calling
Harry, I'm trying to get you on the Facebooks here. It won't let me send you a friend request. I'm up and going.
Hold on, man. I already got you on.
Oh, do you?
I think so.
I got to check it.
Is it under Louis or is it under Frozen Broadcast?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of new to the Facebook stuff, and I think I send them on both. Although Facebook won't let me do the live through Facebook. I don't know, man.
Well, we'll figure it out for you. Leo, go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution.
Yeah, go to Amped Up Sports, and I'm finally back up on Facebook. Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay. And,
well, you're not selling any more Hondas?
No Hondas? No dogs?
Oh, it's not me. Is that a Coon Cat? You want a Honda or a Coon Cat? I'm your guy.
All right. Leo Haggerty, we appreciate the time, my friend. All right.
All right, guys. Take care.
Leo, have a good one, brother. You take care of yourself. Seriously, Louis, go ahead and send it over to me again. I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. For those of you, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate let me vent a little bit. It was great having Roberto Hernandez on. He's been a close friend of mine for quite a few years. Man knows baseball in and out, even though other people think they know more than him. It's not a big deal. Seriously, can't wait till Wednesday. Possibly going to be on. You never know. I just kind of just slither around and make these surprise appearances, and who knows? The over-under just might be coming back. But as Harry's the Greek always says, keep your bets low and your returns high. Louis, Peter, thanks for having me on. I hope you guys have a really good night.
It needs to come back because I miss our Friday nights where we get to go out to eat before then, and then we had a show. I remember that, and I was remembering that the other night. I need to hang out with my boy.
Lots of fun, but I think we're going to do a pay for pick this year. Unfortunately, it's going to end up going that way. It's going to end up having to go that way. I mean, I made a lot of people a lot of money. Thank you to the people that were go ahead and cash apping me some of the picks that we were taking care of. But I do a lot of work out there, and it's just not being financially conducive for me to do this. I do this because I'm trying to educate people about gambling. I'm trying to help people go ahead and make a few more dollars. Instead, I've gotten a lot of ridicule going, hey, man, how can you make that pick or things like that? But you know what? You can pick a race. You can't pick the races.
That's
true. Gamblers out there know exactly what I mean by that. That's why I don't pick every single game. Pick in excess of over 65% for the past 3 years. We had 1 year that was already in the 80% range when it came against the spread. It's all verifiable. But you know what? We're going to talk about it real soon. There's a lot of exciting things coming up toward the end of the year. Especially right around when football season starts, because we're going to have a lot of fun, and let's go ahead and do that. And maybe we'll resurrect the over-under again.
I like it. I like it a lot, my friend. Harry, the great professional handicapper extraordinaire of the sports web. We appreciate the time, my friend.
Take care of yourself. And, to the Tampa people out there, I don't hate Tampa sports. Don't pay attention to that ignorance. I'm just critical, but I'm also critical about every team if there's a reason to be critical. Deuces, guys. Take it easy.
Peace.
All right, there you go. And here's Baker Mayfield for you.
Wait up, little boy. Stop. Wait up.
I have no problem with listening to that. It isn't that this is God.
What isn't this?
That's good enough to suck right there.
Really? Louis, it seems like you just got another $10 deposited, sir.
No. I eliminated the let's go from Tom Brady, but I had to still keep the suck one.
No more Tom Brady.
All right.
Yeah, I think the train's passed now. It's over.
All right.
Different era in Bucs football.
It's still funny, though.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Hey, I see a little Eric Scott there. Says, we love you, Harry. We love you too, Eric. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all have a really good night. Deuces.
All right, good stuff there. Let's go back to the two shot here. Let's get out to some of these comments as we've been neglecting the webheads. I do apologize.
Very passionate Rays talk today, man.
I did not anticipate the Rays talk being that passionate. I love Tampa Bay Ray. I love Alex. I love L. Bushman. I love Harry and having Roberto Hernandez on here.
That was huge.
You gotta take advantage of it, man.
You know what it is too, Peter? I think people in the Tampa Bay area are very passionate about Tampa Bay Rays baseball, and that's what it comes down to. And I'm going to go ahead and give my 2 cents. I think he needs to sell the team to better qualified people who have the best interest of the team. Now, there was a couple of things that people were saying that I didn't want to interrupt. I believe somebody was saying that there was a place like a dump. There used to be an old dump. Am I correct? Like a wasteland type of deal.
Yes.
So here's the problem with stuff like that. Myself doing construction, I don't want to gloat here, myself doing construction, that's going to cost a lot of money just because of the simple fact building on a wasteland is not just, we're going to go in there and put a slab on grade and this and that. That's not how that works. There's a lot of extras once you start dropping iron into ground. And when I mean iron, I mean equipment, machinery. When you start digging and you start seeing all that trash and you start seeing all that rust water, now you have to excavate all of that stuff out. So you know what that costs? Money. We just recently did a job and they were trying to build a rehab facility. They had a budget for this rehab facility. It cost $15 million over budget because of the simple fact of it being a wasteland, a dump. So you guys got to keep that in mind too.
All right. I want to go out to the phone lines here. I want to go out to this comment and then we'll get out to the comments here. Since getting into stream myself, I started 3 stations, starting a 4th sports talk, Peter. You and I have talked before. I think it's time to talk again. Yes, keep the Rays here with the team owners, investors that want to be here. Absolutely, we'll talk off air. Russ, appreciate what you're doing out there, man. Good stuff with you always looking to expand the evolution of Sports Talk Television live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and, of course, Instagram Live. Let's go out to the second call here. Mr. Alex from Largo. Alex, welcome to the evolution.
I'm back.
No, you're just left.
Listen, I want to say this. I love this show, and I love Harry the Greek. He is the best.
Well, I know you have. I know you met him before, and we've hung out.
He is a good dude, man.
He is a good dude. He is.
Me and him will always bump heads when we're talking about the Rays, and
he stirs it up, but we love him. Yes,
I love you, Harry. Even though I know you're listening, I love you, bro. But anyway, putting all the stadium side of talk, I did want to say this.
Well, let me ask you this really quick, because this has been the topic of discussion for the night here. Abdul Carter wanted to use 56, was rejected. Wanted to use Sims's number, was rejected. Would you be okay with a Bucs rookie using one of the greats of all time, or you're not good with that? Because I say you don't do it because you want that rookie to create his own legacy, if you will, and unless Warren Sapp gives you permission, or of course the Salmon family or the Bucs organization gives you permission to use 63, I think it should be off limits. Yeah, it is. It is. I think anybody asks Warren Sapp, I want to use my number, Warren Sapp would tell you to go to hell and pound sand, and I do
other things too.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So you okay with the rookie using a greats number? Like this guy said, Eric Scott. I want to go back to this right here. Good comment by Eric Scott. Thanks a lot for tuning in to the evolution. Emeka Ibuka wanted to wear 83 in honor of Joe Jaravicius or VJax. Where's the line drawn? I understand 55, 99, 20, 12, 63, and 47 being off limits, but just a thought, seeing where we draw the line. Fun interaction or fun thought here. So you're okay with the rookie using another number, or no, create your own legacy?
Create your own legacy.
Okay.
I don't believe in touching what's considered a greats number, but that's just my personal opinion on it. Hey, listen, talking about the Bucs for a minute, I know we were all talking about the Rays a lot, but
yes,
talking about the Bucs for a minute, aren't you guys excited about this season coming up?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm so pumped about what we got in the
exciting.
draft.
It's exciting. Yeah, absolutely. It's Todd Bowles. It is Todd.
I haven't really talked about the Bucs much of late when I've been calling in, because obviously it's baseball season right now, but I really love what the Bucs did in the draft. I think our defense is like so bulked up now. What do you guys think about them? Do you guys think they're gonna use the big boys that they got from the Gators next to Vita Vea?
Listen, I think there's a big time question mark, right? So for me, I looked at the situation, and a lot of people told me he could be camp meat at the end of the day. He could fall off. But I think the Bucs have some plans here. And if this kid is losing weight, like is being reported, and he's serious, and he's a local kid, he's got lots of motivation, he wants to play, right beside Vita Vea, I think anything is possible at this point. There has to be a plan here. I'm not saying he's going to make the team, but if he does the necessary things to lose weight, there's definitely potential there, and I think that's where the Bucs are picking up on. Furthermore, the last 2 years, guys, you could do research on this, 7 undrafted free agents have made this team. So when you think, look, undrafted free agents are not as important to other teams, they are very important to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Very important. So don't rule that.
Not only that, if you look at the past couple of years too with Vita Vea, how he slimmed down a little bit, that was working with Ndamukong Suh. I guarantee you Vita Vea is working with this to slim him down too, because do you know what kind of pressure this is going to take off Vita Vea if this kid can slim down and really play at a high level? And now Vita his snap counts may drop a little bit, but you don't think a guy like Vita Vea, I don't think he would mind about something like that, just because to have that healthy rotation. And again, I'm going to keep saying this. You guys are going to see a lot of what the Philadelphia Eagles did with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were probably one of the worst teams pass rushing last year. I guarantee you they're going to be in the top 15, if not top 10 this year in all-purpose defense. I promise you that. Just because of what they're doing with the rotation, it's the key. That they're putting big guys up front. As long as Watson can live up to that end of the bargain, I'm telling you right now, they're putting big guys up front in the interior. And they're going to have that rotation of Braswell, Diaby, Hassan Reddick, Anthony Nelson. You're going to see, and the rookies,
Chansey.
Elijah. You're going to see these edge rushers really start to feast in there. I'm telling you right now, and I'm excited for this season. I'm telling you, it's how to meet
too, and it comes back down to Reddick. Reddick with the presence of being a double-digit sacker. I get it. He had 1 sack last year with the Jets. Didn't want to be there. I think that's an anomaly. He'll work. He's a proven guy. I think he not only helps that pass rush out, but also that veteran presence where you can learn from him.
But Peter, this has been Tampa has been I want to say the past couple of years a place where guys like Hassan Reddick, guys like Baker Mayfield have basically rebuilt their career, rejuvenated their career. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think that 1-year deal, $12 million guaranteed, $14 million with incentives, if it's gonna drive Hassan Reddick. I think we're gonna see the Hassan Reddick of old. And Larry Foote is here, and he was with him in the early stages of his career, and that's a huge thing. And honestly, I don't think the Buccaneers are done making moves just yet. Again, inside linebacker is a position that I want to see them address. There is somebody in Jacksonville that I believe is not too happy. That's kind of been underperforming. And I'll just keep it at that.
And who is that?
Guys,
who is that?
I wanted to add with you guys about Desmond Watson.
Mm-hmm.
He's been working hard, man. I saw a little IG video where he was working out, lost over 25 pounds already since the draft, something like that.
Yep.
But he's working hard. I think the dedication for him is definitely there. So don't be surprised. For Bucs fans, don't be surprised if that undrafted free agent pops up somewhere along the season, sitting right there next to Vita Vea, in my opinion. But
might be.
I will say this: I'm so happy talking about the Bucs because, again, I haven't really gotten talked about the Bucs lately. I'm so happy with what the Bucs did in the draft, addressing the defensive aspects of things, because, man, we all been talking about so bad about how Carlton Davis was getting burned. The competition there is going to be so great. I don't think you Bucs fans.
Well, I think you're talking about Jamel Dean. I think you're talking about you're confusing.
Jamel Dean.
That's all right.
Jamel Dean.
Right.
Sorry, guys.
Well, you're gonna see this year. I promise you. You're gonna see. I want everybody out there, Buck fans. I really want everybody to stop really paying attention to the mini camps, the rookie mini camps and stuff like that, because it's gonna pave way for a lot of competition for these veterans on defense. Like, I love the fact that there's so much competition. Training camp this year is going to be very, very competitive. I'm going to go ahead and say I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple of scuffles between the Bucs on offense and defense. There could be, and I want to see that. I want to see a little bit of chippiness. It's plenty good for the team. It's good for morale because again, I feel like some guys on the team have gotten a little too comfortable. And now it's time to really earn your contracts and earn your keeps. I'm not going to throw Antoine Winfield in that category just because he was banged up. Unfortunately, we all had high hopes. But again, Jamel Dean, better be on the lookout because the kid from Notre Dame is going to be breathing down your neck. I'm telling you right now, that kid's going to be special.
Aren't you guys excited about them, though, about Morrison and Parrish, bro? Don't you think those picks were so great, man?
Absolutely. I love the picks.
A lot of Bucs fans were pissed too, man, about those picks.
Well, listen, a lot of Bucs fans are pissed about everything. Again, I got told by somebody that last year's draft class was a B+, even with all the starters and all the contributions that draft class made. And then I got told this year the Bucs deserve an F because they didn't address what I wanted, which was an edge rusher or a linebacker. And I don't know
what was our draft class last year?
Hello.
Bucky Irving, 1,000 yards.
Graham Barton, Jalen McMillan, Tyke Smith. Not bad. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a good draft class, man. The problem is, Peter and Alex, nobody trusts the process. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think guys like Bucky Irving really surprised a lot of people. Even Jalen McMillan, who picked up the slack when Chris Godwin went down. Those
eight touchdowns, man, for a rookie. Really, huge.
Yep. The Bucs really relied on their rookies because of such key injuries. So I'm telling you guys, don't sleep on these defensive draft picks because I'm telling you, I really think in the cornerback position with Jamel Dean, which I know I just feel like he got so lazy, bro. And I felt maybe he got too comfortable that I think with these really awesome draft picks that they're going to go into the draft or they're going to go into the season and fight for competition.
Alex, I agree with you on that, man. Great calls tonight,
Thanks,
man.
bro.
You're killing it as always. Appreciate you. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll get back to. We're gonna get to the comments because I'm gonna read these. I know.
Real quickly, do you
Yes.
think if there was this coming up, because we see cuts all the time in training camp and stuff like that?
Sure.
Out of Jamel Dean and Jalen Ramsey and anybody in the comments, feel free to answer this question. If there was somebody that was going to get cut, who would get cut out of the two from their team? Because right now, Jalen Ramsey is nobody wants to trade for him just because of the simple fact that the $24 million cap is way too high. And the Dolphins, let's face facts, they're going to be rebuilding pretty soon. And with Tyreek's situation and all that stuff. And then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who, have Jamel Dean, who, great comment, Christopher Cole. Dean stopped working on his body. He's gotten a little compliant and lazy. Who could get cut here? Or could both of them get cut? What do you think, Pete?
They certainly could both be cut at the end of the day because Dean hasn't been able to stay on the field. On top of it, consistency-wise, he's not very consistent at all. And that's the reason why the Bucs addressed that both ways there with Parrish and Morrison, especially with Morrison. They expect him to take the role. There's going to be competition there. So I think there could be a possibility of Dean's days being over if he's not able to perform on the field.
I hope not. I hope he can really humble himself from this, and I really hope he can contribute to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, because when he's on, he's on, man. Yes. When he's on, he has the potential to be a top 10 corner. He does.
Look at the record when Dean is in this defense, and look at the record when he's not, with Josh Hayes and Funderburk. Not pretty, and that's the reason why the Bucs double dipped in the first place. Wilbur says the Buccaneers are going to embarrass a lot of teams this season. I like that. Eric says we're happy Panthers are losing. David, hey, is there any way we can swap the Rays for the Magic? No. People are not going to spend $1,500 at Disney and then spend another $500 to go to a baseball game. Exactly. What's up, two giant goop balls? Rays can put a stadium in the middle of the Everglades and get more people in the seats. I say traffic time driving by the stadium, avoiding Hillsborough Avenue after work. That's sad. A group of guys and Barry Larkin. Why is it so dark, Ray? Are you hiding? Put the stadium at the fairgrounds, make the owner sell, problem solved. Yes, the problem is solved. I agree with you. Hablo Espanol, uno más cerveza. Thank you very much, two giant goop balls.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, closing up for Tampa, St. Pete, Wesley Chapel, Lakeland, Plant City, Orlando, Sarasota, Bradenton, Christopher Cole. Plus, it's an 11,000-seat stadium. He needs a stadium to add value to the team. Should get him a stadium deal with the clause he has to sell it. David says the problem is in the Tampa Bay area, people would rather watch paint dry than watch baseball, and I'm one of them. Sorry about that, David. When I was doing construction, the only time we turned off 620 is when they started talking about baseball, when a baseball game came on. I'm sorry, man. We talk baseball on this show. We've given you football for the majority of these shows, but sometimes they're
a little slow with football though right now. That's the thing.
Right.
How much can we really praise this Buccaneer draft? How many, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you got to let some things happen.
I mean, guys, if you want to talk about the NFL draft and what the Bucs did or anything else, the phone lines are open. All I hear right now is crickets. I hear lots of complaints. David, I love you, man, but you know all too well the majority of this show is Bucs talk. But when we got Roberto Hernandez, who's a former baseball player, we're going to go with them. We're going to go with it. We're going to go with the flow of the show. That's what we do here on the Evolution. A happy Cinco de Mayo. Hopefully you guys are safe out there. You make going to a game an experience, exactly, which the Rays don't do enough of. They never made a trickle. Mike D. Roche. Louis is still in the green room. That's okay. We got him back. Tampa Bay. Tampa people don't want to cross the bridges. Roger says bottom of the sixth. Cubs 5-2 over the Giants. They believe they won 9-2. Let's go out to the tribal troll here.
Acknowledge me.
Let's go out to Roger Shue here. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Louis from the Frozen Pirate Podcast. Go ahead, my friend.
The tribal troll in the house.
Yes, sir.
Great show tonight, gentlemen.
Thank you. Appreciate you. There goes that
Oh,
idea,
yes.
by the way, of going 2 hours. And that is not going to happen with all the guests we had tonight, all the conversation. But I love that.
no.
You know, if the conversation is going and it's flowing, if you will, then we're going to continue to stay on air. If it's not, then we'll get off.
Absolutely. So, yeah, final Cubs 9-2 over the Giants.
All right. Congratulations to the Cubs.
Yes.
All right.
Rays, I think, are going to Orlando.
Well, I think you should get in on that bet there of $1,000, and I'll take your money like I'll take Alex's money. How about that?
I don't know, man. They got
no.
they
That's
got
not what I
Live Local
asked you.
Sports in Orlando at Disney.
And how do they do with their baseball teams there? How do they draw? By the way, how do they draw?
Well,
they draw.
We
They drew.
had a Major
No,
League Baseball team in Orlando yet.
They did have Major League Baseball there with spring training, and they draw.
That's spring training.
They drew squat. That's what they drew.
Just like the Rays draw squat.
Well, listen, the Rays draw squat, and there's a reason why they do that, because the ownership stinks, okay?
And their stadium stinks.
Well, again, though, it's one guy that's holding up the deal, that's been holding up the deal for years now. How many times you got to go through this? You know, I want to go full screen. I want to go full screen on this, because this is, again, like I'm on the phone with people that are older. Again, nothing against older people, but what is the main constant? If you want to save money, you save money. You save money in the past? No. You know why? Because you save money right now? No. You know why? Because of you. You save money in the future? Guess what? No, because of you. You do the same thing over and over again, and you expect a different result, and you're never going to save any money doing the same thing over and over again. And consequently, that's what the Rays have to deal with every year, year after year, Groundhog Day, when it comes to this ownership and it comes to the stupid stadium talk. Over and over again, do the same
should have
thing.
bought the Mets.
Well,
he's a lifelong Mets fan. That's where he should have put his money at.
I don't disagree with you on that at all. Not disagree with you. Probably the smartest thing you've ever said on the show. Besides,
come on, Peter.
Give me that $100. Well, you know, you did give me that $100, so we eliminated the Tom Brady, so we got the Baker Mayfield.
Wait up, little boy. Wait up.
Get your weight up right there. Get your
There
weight
you
up,
go.
little boy. Yeah.
Like,
And I got JP here.
Living the dream, baby. Living the dream.
I got JP Peterson that has something to say about when you talk about the stadium.
F you, F you, F you, and F you. Peace out.
Peter
I'm gonna go
Blake,
have a Guinness.
you don't understand Major League Baseball stadiums.
What do I not
because you've only gone
understand?
to the Trop.
No, I do
The
understand
Trop
Major
is a
League.
dump.
Okay, I understand that.
It's the worst stadium in Major League Baseball.
I'm not saying it's not, but what I am saying is that the idiot owner could have got this deal done for years upon years and decides not to get it done because he doesn't put enough money in his pocket.
I will say this.
Yeah,
I will say this about the Trop. So, all right, being in Massachusetts, going to Fenway Park, all right, it's very uncomfortable.
Did you go Park?
Yeah, very. The Park there at Fenway is very uncomfortable, very congested. Seats are very tiny. You know, but I get it. It's Fenway. When I went to the Trop for the first time to watch our very first Rays game a couple of years back ago, where my girlfriend almost got hit by a foul ball from Juan DeFranco. Unfortunately, good thing we didn't grab that ball. So, who did they play? I forgot who they were playing. Yeah,
Wonderful. Yeah.
So, one thing I did notice when we entered the stadium, it was a little bit bright on the field. It wasn't bad, but it was fine. It was like the air quality was good. Like it was just nice. In my opinion, I feel what the Rays were lacking was what the Tampa Bay Lightning do, what the Buccaneers do, and that's they add a light show, a pizzazz. There's hype around the game before it starts. And I feel like that's what the Rays need. And I feel like the Trop wasn't all that bad. It just needed to be upgraded. And slowly but surely, unfortunately, when you have an owner like Stu, who's I'm not going to say the word. This is what you get. And that's why I said they need to sell the team. This team is suffering slowly from the owner. That's why the team is in the situation that it's in. That's why I believe the morale of the team is down. I believe there's a lot of Ray fans that are pissed off out there. You know, it's ownership. That's what it comes down to. you get what you put out, and this is the ownership. It's to me, it's just all on the ownership. I think he needs to let go of this team. He needs to sell this team. He really does. And
He does.
honestly, as long as he owns this team will never go anywhere. They'll be mediocre at best. And I was looking at some stats about there's no way they're worth $2 million. I mean $2 billion. I mean shit, if they were worth $2 million, I would go get a loan right now. But there's no way they're worth $2 billion. I mean, I was looking at some things. Oh, I wish I had it in front of me. I do not.
It's okay. It's all right. We definitely get it.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
The last 5 teams that were sold. The New York Mets in 2020, they sold for $2.4 billion. Kansas City Royals were sold for $1 billion. The Marlins were sold for $1.2 billion. You see where I'm going here? The Rays are not worth $2 billion.
No.
Not even close.
No way.
All right. What else? What else, Roger?
That's it, man. What happened with your car? Is everything good?
Car's fine, man. Again, a special shout out to Mavis Tires and Brakes. David, they are taking care of me with the crew. It was just a light, just needed to be filled up with air. They took care of me, didn't charge me. I had to give them a shout out. I give them a shout out again here on the Evolution. We'll see if we can get them as a sponsor of the show. Who knows? We were talking.
Oh, yeah.
So we need
I
sponsors.
gotta talk about some of those sponsorships, Peter. I'm going to help you out with that.
I need that. All right, Roger. Yeah, you owe me breakfast in the morning. Bring me breakfast.
No, you owe me lunch for bringing you to pick up your car.
Yeah, down the street, I owe you lunch. All right, we'll figure out lunch tomorrow. Whatever, bro. Get out of here. Yeah, shut up.
Buy him a coffee.
Shut up!
Buy you a clue. That's what I'll buy you. Love you, Roger. Let's see here. That's according to Forbes, $1.25 billion. Right there. Valued $2.5 billion by Forbes. Valuation has remained flat year over year. The team's value places them at 29th most valuable team in Major League Baseball, according to Forbes. There you go. There's a kid running on the field. There was a kid running on the field. That's a little L. Bushman, I guess. Hell yeah. Let them go to Orlando. I'm going to start rooting for the Dreamers. Come on, David. Stop it. Could be wrong, but wasn't the Tampa Bay Storm averaging the same attendance as the Rays even today? And they left. Well, they folded because they didn't have enough money. That's what it comes down to. But they did do well for the years there. They could draw. The Lightning don't have a problem with drawing, and neither do the Bucs. 9-2 Cubs. All right. Christopher Cole. Just a month until another hurricane season begins. Yeah, let's hope there's no hurricanes at this point.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what. I think you guys are going to get a big break because not to bring up Massachusetts again, for some strange reason out here, and out of all of my years of living here, it's starting to get a little bit warmer up here. Like our winters are not as bad anymore, which I'll take that. I could care less.
Right.
But it's been windy every day for the past, I want to say, I don't know. It's been all winter long, more than average. And like I said, it's getting a little bit warmer quicker now. We've been getting a lot of rain, and it's been very, very, very windy. And we haven't gotten hit with a major hurricane in God knows how long. Probably like 1993. We're due for one. I really hope I didn't jinx it, but I'm telling you right now, it's weird. I've never seen the wind pick up the way it does like now out here. It's crazy.
I hope for your sake that doesn't happen. All right, David.
We're not ready for it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
we get a half a rainstorm and there's streets that are flooded. We're not ready for that. I promise you that.
No. All right. Do you think the Buccaneers would change their shoelace colors? Sorry, I just want to change the subject. Laughed out loud. David says, how many wide receivers do you think the Buccaneers will keep? Of course, Godwin, Evans, Abuka, definitely on this team. McMillan, that's 4.
I want to say 5.
I think
5.
Shepard. And then after that, who knows?
I want to say maybe 5 or 6.
I think Taz Johnson has a chance.
Yeah, because more on special teams. I think they're going to give, I think Trey, if he doesn't get his act together, I think he might get cut.
I think Trey is definitely on thin ice, and that's the reason why you draft Johnson in the first place, 7th round.
Yeah.
It's because Palmer has not been able to produce as a special teamer.
And
he's
you got,
right.
You got a really deep tight end room right now in Culp and Kate Otten and, you know, what we saw at the end of last year, them coming on. Yeah,
by the way,
Dane Durham.
He when he shaves his head, he looks like Karrion Kross.
Really? Hey, man, we actually should talk about Karrion Kross this Wednesday.
We will.
Wednesday, Turnbuckle talk. A
Yes.
lot of cool stuff going on.
Yes. Not Hogan and Bischoff. Although I've
No.
seen the interview, it was interesting.
Did you see him? He dyed his hair black, his beard. What are you doing, dude?
Bro, he's doing the NWO thing again. He's doing
my God.
Yeah, brother. Do you think we finally bring in a fullback? I don't think so at this point. Peter, how can I get on StreamYard? Is there a link? No, we're not getting you on video at this point, but you can call in. Josue, appreciate you as always. I guess we could start doing some of that. I just feel like if we do that, your Wi-Fi has to match up. It can't go long. You can't be on for an entire segment. Ask the question.
45 seconds.
I don't know about 45 seconds. I give him about 2 to 5 minutes. We'll
45
figure it out.
seconds.
Sorry to point it out, but Harry looks like he's having a hell of a time. The Green Queen herself. I'm here multitasking. Appreciate you, Dave. Sun Devil Dave. No Shada, no Steele, no problem for the Cubs. Selton Knicks go overtime. We heard that the Knicks win game 1. Thanks, Stu, for being able to get the Rays Paredes t-shirt for $3. Yes, because he got traded last year. Thank you for that. Cubs were loaded in 15 and 16. They were. Mike DeRoche. 2 hours wasted talking about the Rays. I'm sorry, Mikey. We'll do a better job. I think the 2025 Cubs are better on offense and defense. Pitching still a work in progress. Christopher Cole says agreed. Ray Kennedy. Knicks just beat the Celtics. Thanks a lot, Tampa Bay Ray. All right. David says, I really do love your show because this is the most I've watched or listened about baseball since I was 10 and quit playing baseball. David, I thank you very much for tuning in. Does Jim Moore still play for the Rays, Ricky? Ha, ha, ha. Darlene, I think she's entertained or she's not. I'm here. Feedback coming off of one of you all. That would be Leo. We got to figure that situation out.
I figured out what he's doing wrong. When he puts the phone down, he's got the speaker pot facing the bottom, so that's where you're getting the feedback. He's got to turn his phone.
He's got to turn his phone? Yeah. All right. We got to turn his phone, or we got to hook him up with, some headphones and maybe a USB or something. I'm going to help my buddy out. Lives right down the street. The Reach showing up with Logic, Mike DeRoche, Orioles catcher, Adley Rushman, and Gunnar Henderson, who is a shortstop. Sun Devil Dave. Rays are 26th in pitching, 27th in hitting, Major League Baseball. Aranda, 59th in hitting in Major League Baseball. Yes. Junior Caminero, 46th in hitting, Major League Baseball. David, you're all repeating the same thing over and over again. David, again, I can't handle it no more. See you guys Wednesday. Eric had that question. Good question. Eric again. Also thoughts on Warren Moon unretiring for Cam Ward. Tennessee's getting new unis. Moon gave his blessing. There you go. Cam is special in my opinion, but I don't know if he asked or if it was more so bestowed upon him. I think he definitely asked.
Yeah, but they were the Houston Oilers.
Yes.
Not the Tennessee Titans. So, I mean, right. I could see why he did that. And I kind of have a beef about the Houston Oilers and how the Titans use those throwbacks. But now I understand that actually there's a cool little somebody, I don't know the name of the YouTuber, but they broke everything down of why the Houston Titans. The Tennessee Titans still use the Houston Oilers because I guess he made a deal with either Paul Tagliabue that nobody or Roger Goodell that nobody could ever use the Oilers name ever because they owned everything. But there should be a battle of that in the South of the AFC South. That's not right.
Yeah, battle of the Oilers. Vita and Watson in the backfield will be epic. Cubs win 9-2. Christopher Cole, 83 has already been warm before. It has. Joe Sway, Peter, when's the next time you're going to do a show outside? Not sure yet. We'll figure that out, but you're always welcome to call in. And also, if you guys want to create your own show, bring your broadcast to live. PHB Studio Network is still out there. So if you like the podcast that we put on here, and I don't call this a podcast, I call this a live streaming. This is the evolution of sports talk television. If you want something like this, where you have comments, where you have phone calls, and you have 4K video, it's definitely possible. Get in my inbox. Let me know. We'll bring your broadcast to life. That goes out to you, Josue. I'm watching the best sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area, the Sports Web. Harry and Leo, and awesome. Thank you very much, Mom. Appreciate you as always. Eric, we love you, Harry. Ross read that. Thank you very much. Josue, no lightning talk, even though they just got eliminated. There was countless Bucs talk after their first round L. Where's that same energy? We didn't get our lightning guest tonight. We may have on Shooter and Schooley on Wednesday from We the Thunder. We'll definitely talk about it. I mean, what do you want me to say, Joe Sway? You can call in. The phone line is open if you want to talk lightning. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Christopher Cole. Toronto leads Florida 5-3 in the last 5 minutes of the third. Joe Sway, fighting teammates is good for morale. TF, what are you talking about? What he was talking about is competition for guys battling for their positions and having that scrum, if you will, going on in training camp. Joe Sway, very, very, very. You just want to call people out tonight, man. Phone lines are open if you want to call in, if you have something to say or you want to say it in there. Dean stopped working on his body. Joe Sway, David Morse. Okay, come on. Let's be good now. Good show tonight, Peter, as always. Thank you, Joe Sway. Appreciate it. Yeah. Everybody relax here. Rays are averaging 99 a game, so basically selling out a minor league park. Joe Sway. Trop doesn't stink. Are you dumb? It's climate controlled, comfortable atmosphere where it's full electric.
He's not lying.
The problem is location, obviously. Yeah, location. Worst stadium in Major League Baseball, I guess the Oakland Coliseum is like the Taj Mahal to this Roger dummy. Christopher Cole, we haven't even brought up Justin Tucker's situation in Baltimore. We have not brought it up. He got cut. We'll talk more about that on Wednesday because I'm not going any more than what we're going right now. We're going to wrap this up. How did we massage that? I mean, Joe Sway, like a panel discussion platform like the other content creators do. Yes, that's what we do here, my friend. And we'll definitely have, some fans on to interact. Of course, in order for this to work properly, we can't talk over each other. You have to understand when I get you on as a fan, I want you to have, and I threw this out there, this was, Sean, the Sports Don, debate or smack. I'm trying to think of what I said. Sean, the Sports Don, debate kind of deal on Wednesday nights. I still want to get that going. Also to have two fans debate because we always have two people debate.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, it's be a smackdown, if you will, or
we have to do it like Congress, though. You know how like Congress does those meetings? Like we gotta but then again, I've been watching some of that stuff. That stuff's been getting out of control too. So it's just like,
we need to come up with two fans that call the show regularly or want to be on, and the prize is maybe a shirt, which we got to make the shirt. We're working on that for the Sports Web, and you go back and forth, and the host panels decide on who has the best point, and it can be on Tampa Bay Sports or national. And I think we'll give you an opportunity. Maybe we'll throw a couple subjects out there and have you guys debate and see where it goes. But Titans can't complain that people use the Oilers stuff since the Titans were the old Jets name. So guys like Harry and Louie can be on the StreamYard the whole show, but I only get 2 minutes, man. Well,
I earned that right, buddy.
You earned that right. You're not a regular guest, but we also have said we will get you on when we get you on, because you're a guy that always wants to talk about college baseball. Well, I'm okay. Give you a college baseball segment to see if you can carry it and make it exciting. We'll definitely get fans on. I definitely want to explore the possibility. I need Wi-Fi though. Well, there you go. That's the problem. Now you got to get some Wi-Fi. Now you may have to go to McDonald's to get some Wi-Fi.
It depends on who your carrier is. They do a thing where you it's usually pretty good.
Yes.
Like during work, like before I start work, I'm like there a half hour to an hour early.
Yeah.
My iPad doesn't have internet. I use the hotspot on my phone. I mean, it all depends. I mean, I don't really use it much, but I mean, I get pretty fast internet through that. Could do that, but I mean, I don't know what carrier you have. I mean, some carriers charge you, some don't. Something look into if you don't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
hotspots.
And I believe it was Sean, the Sports Don, smack off. I think that's what we were talking about. He would always say overcooking the grits and everything like that. So I love that idea, and he always wanted to debate me, and it was always on the Rays, debating on the Rays, debating this and debating that. So, in tribute to my former co-host there, who I hope is watching this show, along with Rich from Clearwater, another my father. I hope they're watching it, and we like to salute him with that. And I'll call in Wednesday, Peter. All right. Josue, always welcome to call in, even though you're a little bit critical of us. That's all right. You keep us on our toes.
I like that.
And we will. I like that too. And we will talk some Lightning maybe on Wednesday. We'll see if we can get a guest on. Final thoughts here, man. We'll wrap this up here. We will talk more about Dexter Jackson, who he thinks the best safety is, on Wednesday. We'll keep some of the stuff that I had under wraps. But give me some final thoughts here on the Sports Web on a happy Cinco de Mayo Monday night.
Yeah, the wife went out to celebrate Cinco de Mayo at some of these restaurants that we have out here. Fiestas, which is awesome. You get some awesome. I got a big watermelon, freshly squeezed watermelon margarita, like the size of her head, last summer. But I didn't go. I was just because a lot of stuff I got to do, studying for the tests that I have to take pretty soon. But as far as final thoughts, man, I'm happy. Life is good here on the Sports Web. Every Wednesday we got Turnbuckle Talk. We're gonna have a lot more Buccaneers talk. But I wanted to promote something real quickly. So this Saturday night, one of the forefathers, if you will, of the Frozen Pirate podcast, my buddy Jay, he's actually going to be joining me. We decided, so Peter, we do this show. Like when I first started the podcast, we weren't live streaming. We were just strictly audio. Like me and you have talked off air about this, how radio is like, I'd rather listen to a game, a football game, like a Bucs game, than physically watch it. I'd rather listen to it on the radio. There's just something about it. It's just the way I grew up, you grew up, you know what I'm saying? The radio. So I started off as all audio on Spotify, iHeart, and Apple. So Jay and myself used to do this thing called, we had these ideas like, hey, we're going to do all walks of life. And with that, it started off as, hey, we bring in somebody we know and talk about how they became a fan of their team, like what they like, what they don't like. But then it kind of evolved into something else where we're talking about, because the crowd knows us now. Like the crowd has grown with us the past 2.5 years. So this Saturday night, me and him are going to go out, have a couple of drinks, and then we're going to come back here and we're going to record. We're going to do a live stream. We're going to do an episode of All Walks of Life. Now, mind you, there's been a lot of episodes that we've recorded with people, but unfortunately we can't put them out just because the way people are now. And it's not, offensive or anything like that. It's just it's the way people are. People get easily offended about stupid things now. And, we live in a weird time where we're divided up with very stupid things. But anyways, this Saturday, if you guys know, I'm on Facebook now, the Frozen Pirate Podcast, or Louis Lateo. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, the Frozen Pirate Podcast. Come join the conversation. That's all I said. And we're going to be doing that show around 9:30. I don't have all the details yet. And if you want to get a feel for how the show is going to be, mind you, we're just talking. We're going to be talking about our lives. We have a very good time. And if you want to get a feel on how the show is, go on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple iTunes, whatever it is, and go look up the Frozen Pirate Podcast. Go look up like the very second episode, third episode, like those. I was actually looking back to those, Peter. I think I sent you one, and I was like, and that was so money, and it was just so raw, uncut, and just like amateur hour, but it was good stuff. And and I was actually chuckling, listening, and a lot of people like, where's Jay? And Jay's going to come back this Saturday for All Walks of Life. Peter, maybe if you want to join in, you more than welcome to. I'm going to send out a bunch of links to everybody, and if people want to join in. We don't get deep. We talk about life, man. We have a couple of drinks, and we just shoot the you know what.
I may have to. I know I'm tried to jump on your show before, but I haven't been able to because I've been busy with a lot of things. So I will definitely try to do my best, my friend. But I appreciate you. We'll see you on Wednesday night.
Big
on the
show.
Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Yes, Turnbuckle Talk and more Bucs talk. And I promise there'll be more Bucs talk. Unless, of course, there is a baseball player. Or
I like the race talk. Like I said, I tend to stay silent a little bit because I'm not a professional on the Rays. I don't ever claim to be a professional on the Rays.
Sure.
I just speak as a realist, and I'm just looking at it from my perspective and what I observe as a new fan. As my son's growing up to become a fan. My son's never donned a Red Sox jersey. His very first jersey was a Tampa Bay Rays jersey. So this is a message to Stu. This is This is what you're putting out there, you know. So, just sell the team, man. You have enough money. Just sell the team. Eh, don't make me start saying things that I don't want to say.
That's it.
That's it.
Exactly. All right, my friend. I appreciate you as always. We'll see you soon here. All right.
Absolutely. See you guys Wednesday.
All right. Congratulations on the promotion, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
You deserve it. All right. With that being said, we'll go ahead and wrap it up right there. I have T-Mobile. I'm trying to find a spot with good Wi-Fi so I can stream myself. Okay. And Eric says, I'll be there Saturday night if I can at Frozen Pirate. Eric, we appreciate the time. Thanks a lot to all the guests of the night. Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire of this show. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions. Of course, Louis from the Frozen Pirate podcast, and special guest Roberto Hernandez, former Ray, former Brave, former White Sox closer, as he joined us to talk Rays stadium situation. I promise Bucs fans, it'll be more Bucs talk. We got some Bucs talk tonight. We got more Rays talk, but we'll have more on Wednesday. As always, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Give to Facebook stars if you like the content. Appreciate you, Alex, for giving to the content. Appreciate you, Jim Sutton, for giving to the content. YouTube super chats are open. And also another reminder, if you like boxing, okay, there is a site on YouTube that I want you guys to subscribe to. It's called Big Fight Weekend. The media icon, Mr. TJ Reeves, boxing insider Dan Raphael, they talk boxing. So if you like the sweet science of boxing, like and subscribe to that Big Fight Weekend. As always, do 3 things. We'll keep it down. The roommates are sleeping. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay Sports Fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. As we always say, go Bucs. And we'll see you on Wednesday night on the Sports Web.